Yeah.
This regular meeting of the Vernon Township Municipal Utilities Authority, April 21st, 2022. Now convened. Thank you. Call to order. This regular meeting on the Vernon Township Municipal Utilities Authority, April 21st, 2022 will now convene.
Mike's not on.
How about now?
No.
How about now?
Checking, she's checking.
The lights on.
How about now?
The light's on.
Red light on.
And she's flying. Stairway. Got it?
Yes, it's on.
Yeah. Nothing.
Testing,
Testing, testing.
testing.
Another button.
Sing a little bit more and they'll tell you.
Mine works.
Hello.
There you go.
There you go.
Don't have to like put it in your mouth. There you go.
Check.
This regular meeting of the Vernon Township Municipal Utilities Authority, April 21st, 2022 will now convene. Statement of compliance pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this regular meeting was provided to the public and the press on December 27th, 2021 by delivering to the press such notice and posting same at the municipal building and filed with the office of the MUA as well as posted on the website. Please stand for salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a roll call of members and professionals, please.
Yes. Paul Carney,
Present.
Andrew Pittsger,
Present.
Dave McDermott,
Present.
Kristen Wheaton. Present. Edward Snook.
Present.
And tonight Ed DeYoung is absent. For professionals, we have Donnell Bright, the administrator CFO, Rich Bunner, the attorney, Steve Benoski, the engineer, and myself, Jackie McCabe, the recording secretary.
At this time, we'll open the meeting to the public. For items on the agenda only at this point in time. We limit it to 3 minutes. This is only for items that are on the.
Turn it up just a little bit. Yeah, it's really hard. Turn up the volume.
I can.
All on, I don't know if we can.
Pump up the chair.
Is this better?
Speak a little louder.
How about now?
Speak louder.
I'll just have to yell. Okay, right now, we'll open the meeting to the public for agenda items only. Items that are on the agenda. If you have something to speak about, it's on the agenda, you come up and speak now.
Motion.
We need a motion.
Make a motion to open it to the public for agenda items.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second that.
Aye.
How about a copy of the agenda? This way we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, there's copies over there. If you, there's not enough
I
copies for all
only
these
need
people.
30.
Do you want me to give one? Yeah,
Yeah, give him a chance to sit down.
if I hold it down.
You hold it down. Have to do, I don't know why.
For those of you who didn't get a copy, Donnell's gonna give a out of what is gonna be on the agenda tonight. And then you'll have the opportunity to speak on agenda items.
So just a brief overview of what's on the agenda tonight. So we just have approval of the bills. This is after our open public meeting. We just have approval of our bills, approval of meeting minutes. We have a couple of resolutions on just for renewing membership for our insurance, appointing a risk manager, and appointing a fund commissioner. And then we just have our regular, we have some subcommittee discussions to appoint individuals to subcommittees. And then we have our regular reports. We do have a second session for open meetings are open to the public for items that are not on the agenda. So if anyone has any comments about items that are on the agenda that I just went over, it's on a piece of paper, then you can speak now. If you have questions or comments about anything else, we would ask that you just hold it until the second portion of the open public, just so we can get some of this business done with.
Not sure, but I think that a lot of us are here Rich, about the sewer. Is that on the agenda today?
No, it's not on the agenda, which is why we would ask that you just wait till the second part
Okay.
for the second one.
Is there anyone who wants to speak of items on the agenda? Anybody on,
I do not.
nothing?
Did we do a motion in second?
We can-
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nobody from the public, make a motion to close.
I'll make that motion. Close the meeting to the public for meetings, agenda items only.
Get a second? Second by Ed.
All in favor?
Where are we?
We're moving to approval of bills.
Make a motion for approval, resolution number 2223, approval of the bills. Make a motion, please.
I have a question on the bills, first of all.
Sure.
Let me just pull that one up. Thanks. All right, on the bills list, there's a charge for $12,490 for a pump. Which one is that for?
That would be the
The backup
The
pump
backup
for one
pump.
and three.
computer to backup pump, so that would be, we could use it for either pump station 1 or 3.
Okay, so that's for 1 or 3. That was the
Correct.
for pump.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you.
Any other questions on the bills? I have a motion to approve the bills.
Motion approved the bills. I'll second it.
Paul Carney,
Yes.
Andrew Pittsger,
Yes.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Kristen Wheaton,
Yes.
Edward Snook.
Yes. To approve the meeting minutes of March 17th, 2022. Did everybody get a chance to look at them?
Yes.
I have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve meeting minutes 3/17/22. Second motion.
Paul Carney,
Was I at that meeting?
No, No. I was not in attendance of that meeting.
Yes.
Abstain.
Andrew Pittsger,
Yes.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Kristen Wheaton,
Yes.
Edward Snook.
Yes. To approve the executive meeting minutes, I'm sorry, the meeting minutes of 3/25/22.
That is a special executive meeting.
Do a special meeting.
Special
That's
meetings.
a special meeting. Motion to approve the meeting minutes from 3/22/25/22. Special meeting minutes. I'll make that motion.
Get a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay, Paul Carney,
Yes.
Andrew Pittsger,
Yes.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Kristen Wheaton,
Yes.
Edward Snook.
Wasn't present. Abstain. Executive meeting minutes of 3/25/22. I got a motion.
Make a motion to approve the executive meeting minutes of 3/25/22.
I'll second that motion.
Paul Carney,
Yes.
Andrew Pittsger,
Yes.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Kristen Wheaton,
Yes.
Edward Snook.
Yes. Okay. Resolution 22. Oh, I'm sorry.
Just real quick, Commissioner Snow, we just want to confirm that you're abstaining from the 325 executive minutes. You're abstaining.
Had the wrong ones.
Thank you.
Good catch.
Yeah, it was. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Resolution 2224, amendment to resolution 2214, renewing membership in the statewide insurance fund. Get a motion.
Motion to approve resolution 22-24.
I'll second that motion.
Carney,
Yes.
Andrew Pittsger,
Yes.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Kristen Wheaton,
Yes.
Edward Smith.
Yes. 2225, appointing fund commissioner statewide insurance fund.
You make a motion?
Make a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve those 22, 25?
I'll second that.
Okay, Paul Carney,
Yes.
Andrew Pittsger,
Yes?
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Kristen Wheaton,
Yes,
Edward Smith.
Yes. Resolution 2226, appointing risk management consultant and RMC agreement. Make a motion, please.
Motion to approve 22, 26?
A second?
Second that motion.
Okay, Paul Carney,
Yes.
Andrew Pittsger,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Kristen Wheaton,
yes,
Edward Smith.
Yes. Resolution 2227, review of EDU allocation. We will table this and carry it out to the next meeting.
what, I'm sorry, why is that?
The applicant requested it be tabled to the next meeting.
Can we see the motion to the table?
We get a motion to table that, please?
Motion to table 22, 27?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Paul Carney,
Yes.
Andrew Pittsger,
Yes.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Kristen Wheaton,
Yes,
Edward Smith.
Yes. On work sessions, new business, subcommittee discussion.
Chairman, I wonder if I might make a motion to move this item to later in the agenda.
No problem with that. Does anybody have a problem with that?
No?
No.
Second that?
Maybe prior to the commissioner's comments or,
Okay. Just to the administrator report.
Can we actually, I'm gonna ask that we do the engineer's report first. Our licensed operator couldn't make it tonight either, so can we do the engineer's report
Sure.
first, and then I'll go, and then we
All
can
right,
open to the public.
we'll skip to the engineer report.
Yeah, I'm gonna, go ahead, Paul.
Go ahead.
Okay. So pump station 2 update, unfortunately, we're kind of at a standstill, I guess I could say, with iBank for the last several months. There's a 6-step process with iBank. We've been on step 3 for about, 5 months now, 6 months now. Step 3 is the environmental planning document, which is, a document which at a somewhat high level reviews the environmental and somewhat socioeconomic impacts of the work. We were supposed to receive approval of that no later than March 4th. That did not happen. We had a meeting with iBank about 2 weeks ago, which they indicated we should expect something shortly, and that didn't happen. So I think that we're going to need to, elevate this a little bit, which we will, unless Donnell thinks otherwise. I think we're going to need to elevate this a little bit, which we can do. We proceeded with task 4 and task 5 for the iBank, which is engineering design and specifications and SED participation during planning and design for contracting agencies. So we proceeded with those steps 4 and 5 even before getting approval for it's steps, I think. Step 3, just to kind of get this moving along as quickly as we can. So, but it's getting a little frustrating, but we continue to follow up and we're doing what we can with that. Hopefully, I would have thought that this would have been well in the rear view by now, but it's not, unfortunately. Sewer service area mapping. We had a meeting with the DEP on April 1st, 2022. It seems like a lot of the same conversations over and over again, but they agreed to look at some of the properties or areas that were going to be removed as being environmentally sensitive. They're kind of, they're doing something that they don't necessarily need to do. and doing a environmental review on those properties, and we think that those will be able to be added back in. Updated mapping was sent to them about a week ago, and we're going to continue to follow up on that because we think if they do that, that would be a positive development and something that would have been somewhat worthwhile of the wait. But that mapping was sent back to DEP about a week ago, and we're going to continue to follow up with that. Transfer station. We had a meeting with Mountain Creek and Wind River on March 10th. On that meeting, Wind River indicated that they would need the transfer station to accept waste such as grease trap waste and some other waste that wasn't necessarily anticipated, and would make the whole setup more of a partially a treatment works as much as it is a transfer station. So we are, which wasn't necessarily anticipated, I guess I would say. So just today, they provided some information on what they believe would be necessary for the required equipment and the kind of process, the treatment, the receival, treatment, and it's not disposal, but the conveyance required to make this a successful project for them and to be able to accept the waste that they would need to dispose of to make it successful. So that just came in today. So we're going to review that and kind of give our opinion on it, and from the MUA's perspective. And then the only other item I had was for the item that was just tabled. So I don't think I need to discuss that.
Steve, I have a couple of questions, if I may. Can you hear me?
I can, Andy. Yep. Good evening.
Okay. On pump station 2, we talked about this iBank. Do we know why there's such a delay?
Nope. We are just every time we ask, it's just, oh, it's it's at the supervisor's desk. It should be just a couple of days. But that's been several months that's been the story. So at this point, I'm wondering if it's something more than that. So we're going to have to, and we've been taking them at their word for that. But now we're going to have to dig a little deeper.
So when you say elevated, what do you mean by elevate?
Basically go to a supervisor as opposed to just asking the reviewer for updates.
I'm a little concerned with that because when we talk about task 4 and 5, we know there's delay in materials and equipment when we want to move into pump station 2. So, I mean, we need to go out for bid for this and start reserving materials. And we can't do any of that until we get iBank approval, correct?
That's correct. They need to, they need to basically give permission for the MUA to go out to bid.
Exactly. And this is imperative because we're running against the clock here when it comes to getting pump station 2 taken care of, a new one coming online so we can shut down this old one because we're still keeping a 50-year-old system up and running. And you know how it is with that. So any push that we can do, and if there's anything we can do from here, I question that with the commission if we can do something. Okay.
Understood. Yes.
On point number 2, sewer service area map. Do we have another meeting planned with DEP so we can find out where we're at? If not,
No,
we can schedule one.
That was requested by Donnell this week.
Okay, good. So we got the feet to the fire because we need to get that closed up as well. All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Any other questions? No? All right, Steve, thank you.
Thanks, Steve. I'm just going to elaborate a little bit on some of the items that Steve went over. So with regards to sewer service area mapping, we did meet with the DEP, but we also included the township's planner, Jessica Caldwell, as well as Matthew Blake from the State Planning Commission. The significance there is that the township went for town center designation last year, and that was approved. It was a bit of a long process and lengthy process. And during that process, the DEP already reviewed a lot of the areas that are that they were questioning be included in the sewer service area. So they already have a contact at the DEP who handles the endangered and threatened species, who has already made determinations on what would be pivotal to those species in specific areas. So I think we got some good feedback from the DEP on that meeting, like Steve had said, and I think it's in a much more positive direction than it has been in the past. So that's good. I think the town center planning area has helped a great deal because they've already done basically an environmental assessment on their own on those species and those locations. So hopefully they get back to me, tomorrow or early next week on setting up a meeting to go over what James sent them. The transfer station, I put in an application for funding for this project with the community funding for fiscal year 2023. That's congressional funding through the feds for next year. So we have been working with Wind River and Mountain Creek. And this would obviously include a little bit of treatment at the facility. SCUMA currently does not accept grease trap wastewater. So this would be an opportunity for Vernon to take in grease trap wastewater, treat it and put it into the sewer system. Which then obviously that's additional wastewater that can be recharged back to the aquifer, which is not what's happening right now because they have to take it outside of the upper Wallkill region. Updates on capital items. So we did include an updated list for the capital items. We met with, and Andrew was there. We met with Ralph from Dave Heiner Associates. He's a local vendor that deals with a lot of sewer infrastructure, also water infrastructure. And he visited all the lift and pump stations that he would be able to provide quotes in the future, which is good. It's good to have an additional vendor for quotes. So that's a positive. And finance, we did send out delinquent letters to all of the customers, and I've updated, I'm in the process of updating the first quarter revenue and expenditure reports to the website for this year. So before we go into the next item, I just wanted to, with regards to finance, so we've previously mentioned this, but over 700 customers with billing issues were notified via regular mail regarding billing changes. I do see a lot of people here that you mentioned before from the condos, and
Is there any way you can move that mic a little?
Sure, is this better? Is this better? Okay, sorry.
Can you repeat that whole?
Sure, not a problem, right? So I do recognize a lot of people here from the condos. We have a lot of people online. I'm sure they're from the condos as well. We did send out over 700 notices to condo owners discussing a change in their billing. I just want to explain how this came about so that you have a little bit of information before we move into the open public comment section. I want to explain how it came about and also why it was rectified in the way that it was. So since I've come on in the past couple of years, and I don't think this is the first time that it's happened probably, but we've had a number of people come into the office and they have concerns about their billing. They want to make sure their billing is correct. We've also had a number of changeovers where condos have been purchased and they want to see what their bill is going to be and what it's based on. In those conversations, we've had people say, oh, I just bought a 2-bedroom condo, can you tell me what my bill is? And we print out the bill and we realize, we're billing for 1 bedroom. And they just said it was a 2-bedroom. So this happened 3 or 4 times. And at that point, as the chief financial officer, I had concerns about the consistency in billing. So I asked for the listing from the assessor to find out bedroom counts based on what our EDU counts are. The board decided in 2012 to go on an EDU basis for billing, and those EDUs are based on bedroom count. So I didn't think I was going to find as many as we found. Unfortunately, there were a lot of them that were not congruent to the assessor's listing. So that being said, we did an investigation over 2 months, 2.5 months. We met with the board. We discussed, the issue at hand. We didn't even know where the numbers that were in the system came from because what was listed in the minutes was that we were supposed to be using the assessor's list and a bedroom count. That being said, we reached out to Comet Management to get a list just to see what their listing was because we didn't know where the issue exactly was, what the actual problem was, other than the numbers did not match. So when we reached out to Comet Management, they were kind enough to send us over their spreadsheet of all the locations. And that's when we realized that that was the list that was used to establish the counts that are in the system. So that being said, we did reach out to the attorney, the auditor. It was determined to correct the error that was made. And the reason why it was corrected in the manner it was done was so that there was, the billing is done fairly, equitably, and consistently. I want to make it clear too, that your bedroom counts. So whether it's a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom, that does not matter for the purpose of tax assessment. So that we did have some people call and they were concerned that their taxes were going to be adjusted because of the difference in bedroom count. That's not accurate. The tax assessor is solely based on square footage and what you actually have in your condo and your unit. So bedroom count is not necessarily a factor in tax assessment, but it is a set standard, which is why the board back in 2012, 10 years ago, decided to use that listing to move forward for their EDU counts. And that's,
How do you go by comment?
well,
Comment can't even get out of their way. How could you go by a list from comment? Let's be real.
do you want to open to the public?
Well,
So the list that we saved you money.
hold on a second, please. With that being said, why don't we open up, let's make a motion. Hold on a second. I'll make a motion to open to the public to speak on this, whatever you want. I'm assuming it's all going to be about this. And come up to the microphone one at a time. 3 minutes a person, state your name and where you live and speak your piece.
I'll make them, yeah,
We need to make a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
okay.
And when you come up to the podium, you can use one of these microphones right here. And if you can just spell your last name, that would be helpful because we do have somebody that keeps minutes. So just want to make sure it's spelled correctly.
Okay, I really don't need a microphone.
Sir, the problem is that the people online probably can't hear you because of the microphones.
Hear me?
Yes.
Yes, just please state your name and where you live, for the record, please.
My name is Joseph Bono. I live on 3 Silver Star Court in Vernon. And my wife and I have been here 2 years. We moved from Montague. And the reason why I'm asking this question is, first of all, about the sewer tax increase. Why the increase? And then the second part is, why was the 1-bedroom and a loft turned into a 2nd bedroom? You mentioned something about comment. Like somebody said they can't even get out of their own way, so I asked them, why didn't you go from the original floor plan when these condos were built? It was a 1-bedroom then with a loft, and it should still be a 1-bedroom with a loft now.
We're not even allowed to use.
So why?
Please let him.
And a decision magically, poof, the loft is now a bedroom. How can this be? So in other words, somebody could say, you know what, your living room is a bedroom also, now you've got 2 bedrooms. That's not right. I mean, who comes up with these decisions? I don't think I'm the only one that thinks like that. So I guess most of us, that's the reason why we're
There's no
here.
escape plan in the law. There's no window, there's no door, there's no escape. There's a fire, oh, come down the steps, the fire's upstairs, break her neck. How are you supposed to come down the stairs?
I mean, when my wife and I bought the condo, we bought it as a 1-bedroom, 1 loft, a bathroom, a living room, a kitchen, and that's it. Nothing else. That's what I paid for. So now suddenly, again, somebody decided, wow, magic wand.
That's what the.
Now it's a
floor plan
bedroom.
reads, Right.
It's not a bedroom. I don't sleep up there. I sleep downstairs in my bedroom. That's correct. And according to the floor plan, it's listed as a loft, not a bedroom.
That's right.
Because if I wanted to turn into a bedroom, I would have come here, presented to whoever presented this, look, I want to turn this loft into a bedroom. And then the planning board would have to say, okay, Mr. Bono, you're allowed to do it. No, you cannot do it. And if I do it against the planning board, somebody's going to come into the house and say, nah, you got to take the wall down. And now we're going to give you a fine. I mean, am I right or wrong? Well, I don't understand. Can somebody there answer the question for us?
Can everyone hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
So my name is Rich Wenner. I'm the MUA attorney. And to answer your question, sir, the situation you proposed, you're correct. You couldn't just you'd have to get approval if you wanted to do that. What's important to understand though, and I think this is what Danelle was trying to explain, the situation that the MUA is faced with is we don't have flow-based billing, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with, where you have a meter and you're billed for the actual amount of water.
That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
This conversation will be a lot more productive if we just have one person speaking at a time. So the flow-based billing is the best system. However, in order to have flow-based billing, you need to have throughout the sewer district public water, because the readings go off of the public water utility reading. We don't have that in Vernon, or it's a very unique situation. So in light of the fact that you can't have flow-based billing throughout the sewer service area, the next methodology that needs to be employed is what's called EDU-based billing, equivalent dwelling unit billing. That is not a perfect system. We all recognize that. The standards that are promulgated by the DEP, and you can look them up if you want to. They're actually in our rules and regulations if you go online. And it assigns you a number, the property owner, a certain number of EDUs based upon the use that your property is being put to. So if you're a restaurant with 45 seats, you're going to have a certain number of EDUs that are presumed to be being used by you. If that restaurant sits empty for a year, you're still paying for the EDUs because that's how it's done. As it relates to dwelling units, one dwelling unit, one EDU is a 3-bedroom unit. If you have a 2-bedroom unit, it's 0.8. If you have a 1-bedroom unit, it's 0.6 of an EDU. So that's in general how the system works. Now to Mr. Bono's question about the 1-bedroom with the loft, the MUA adopts in its rules and regulations the assignment or the bedroom count that the township tax assessor assigns to a particular unit. So even though, sir, you live in a 1-bedroom or may live in a 1-bedroom with a loft, and you're saying, I only have 1 bedroom, I don't have 2 bedrooms, the township tax assessor has assigned your dwelling as 2 bedrooms. It considers, or the township tax assessor considers your loft to be a bedroom. So anyone with a 1-bedroom and a loft, for the township tax assessor's purposes, is a 2-bedroom. So the MUA looks at the township tax assessor's records, sees 2 bedrooms for this unit, gets assigned an EDU of 0.8. What happened in 2012 when the line items were entered into the system, we think, because it was 10 years ago and many of the people who were here then are not here now, was that the list that was provided by comment was inputted into the system. And it was not the same calculation that the township tax assessor employed. So comment provided a list of units where a 1-bedroom with a loft was identified as a 1-bedroom. However, I understand that.
Sell it as a 2-bedroom.
I understand. No, hold on. I can't speak to how you could sell your property, ma'am. I'm just trying to explain how we got here. So, I'm sorry?
Wrong way.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Still just a look. It's not a bedroom.
But
How you want to look at it.
it's not how the MUA looks. It's not, hold on, let me just, we can stream at each other and talk over each other all night long, or we cannot, and we can actually have a productive conversation. So let's try to, I'm speaking to explain the process and how we got here. So a 1-bedroom with a loft for the township tax assessor's purposes is a 2-bedroom unit.
Not true. It's not true. I'm sorry. I mean, what's your name again?
Rich.
Rich, I'm sorry, Rich, but that doesn't make any sense.
Well,
On paper, when the units were designed and built, they were built according to the floor plan. Again, 1-bedroom or either 2 bedrooms and 1 bedroom with a loft. I have a 1-bedroom with a loft. So I don't know where this tax assessor, when, whatever the heck he is, how he decided that, oh, we're gonna make it into 2 bedrooms. Not right.
No, that's not the
Now you're telling, the lady said that it doesn't affect the taxes. No. If he did this, then the tax assessor could say, now we're gonna tax you more money because your building is 2 bedrooms, not 1. Who's gonna stop them to do that?
Right, and I'm not trying to debate the propriety of whether it's right or wrong. I'm trying to explain to everybody so you have facts.
Rich, I understand what you're trying to say.
Hold on, I'm not finished explaining the situation. So what happened, as Danelle stated, was some residents came in and were questioning their EDU, questioning their sewer bill they were getting. And Danelle, doing her research, realized that what should have been, even though you don't agree with it, what should have been on the MUA side, a 2-bedroom was only a 1-bedroom. So we cannot, under law, treat same classes of property and users of the system differently. So if you own a 3-bedroom house and you're 1 EDU and your neighbor has a 3-bedroom house, we can't give your neighbor an EDU rating of 2 EDUs or 0.5 EDUs. We have to assign a 1 EDU rating to your neighbor because everything has to be uniform. That is why the letters went out, and that's why we're all here today. So I just wanted to give that. I'm not saying this is a cure-all and that you're all happy. I understand. I'm just trying to explain to you so that hopefully you understand why we're here today, and that might help the conversation.
Well, I'm trying to understand what you're saying, but I still go back to 1 bedroom, 1 loft. Simple. 1 + 2 makes 2. 2 + 2 makes 4. Somebody changed it. 3 + 5 makes 10.
Hey, that's-
Not right.
I'm sorry.
That's why we're here.
3 minutes.
No,
Sorry,
this can be correct.
sir. That's your 3 minutes. Next person.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm Craig Thompson. I'm the owner of Comet and the managing agent. I just want to answer, I was involved in this that you're talking about, that many of you or none of you were there for that. And I think some of the things that we're talking about need some clarification. First of all, some of the comments like, we can't get out of our way. What we did back in then with the board and with yourself, township officials, the MUA attorney, that was not yourself at the time, is we fought hard to save the money coming into the situation when Vernon created the MUA. First of all, they wanted to charge everyone here 1 EDU. I put this out in an email to the whole community as a information thing. So they originally wanted to charge everyone a full EDU, but by discussions and talking with them, we got the agreement to the fractional EDUs, which was an immediate savings of money. So we did help out the rest of the community by doing that. Second of all, you talk about the inconsistencies with the list. Well, that was derived from, and I have an email here that I sent to the MUA, the township, the MUA's lawyer, that explained that we worked with them. We got copies of their billings early on in the 2nd and 3rd quarter before they sent out. They had inconsistencies left and right. We even got documentation proof and sent it to them saying, for example, 1 unit was a studio. The tax assessor had it marked as a 2-bedroom unit. And they did it wrong. Then they adjusted it. Then they tried to issue a credit. And we saw all that. So based off of that one example, and there was more than that, that's when they said, well, help us do it because, our records aren't matching up with what's physically there for whatever reason, from what the MUA got from the tax assessor. So we went through the entire list based off of what everyone here is saying, the floor plan, the description of the unit. I went through personally, spent almost a month going through every single line, every single unit on every single association, even created a variation sheet, sent that in. We all looked at it. We decided that some were 2.5 bathrooms, like big townhomes. They had them marked as 2 bedrooms. We said, well, no, we were fair in it. They should be 3 bedrooms because they're large townhomes. So when we did all this process working together by cooperative effort, that's when it was implemented, and it worked for 10 years. Now, the discussion about the usage and the gallon versus the EDU, it's a separate conversation totally. But the fact that here we are now, 10 years later, different people. I had a nice meeting with the representatives from the VTMUA with one of our residents. I appreciate that time. The goal is not to fight as much as or throw people in bus or say horrible things when all we're trying to do here is work together for the situation. So what we don't understand is, and I looked after our meeting, I looked at November, December, January, February, the agenda, the minutes, and I don't see it, and maybe I missed it, but I don't see ever once that saying we're changing Stone Hill or condos, however you want to say it. I just don't see like it ever happened in a public meeting. that you decided to make this change. Like why this change had to happen after 10 years when you're suing SCUMA and you're fighting your own rate problems. Now you put the rate problem back on us again. So all I asked, like if it, and maybe I missed it. So, you know, I wanted to ask, I don't know if it's in the marked minutes because they're not online. You can improve them until tonight. But where this discussion was, in all fairness, if, you know, people didn't attend the meeting to see this decision to undo a mutual agreement between all the parties 10 years ago that saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars on a cost that we didn't have to bear before that. So that's all I want to try to say. I'm sure a lot of other people say things, but as a board and the management team, for all of you, we're all here to work together on this. So we can decide how to approach it with the VTMUA.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Hi, my name is Mary Ann Mitchell. I live at One Vale Court, Unit 1. And when I purchased my townhouse, it was a 2-bedroom, 1 loft. It can't be, and I understand the tax assessor, we're probably gonna have to speak with the tax assessor about this. You guys aren't in charge of the tax assessment, but you can't sell my unit as a 3-bedroom. So it can't be listed as a 3-bedroom. So the tax assessor can't call it a 3-bedroom. There's no realtor will do that. It can't be listed that way. It shouldn't be marked that way. I live there alone. So how is it that I have to pay as a single person the same amount somebody who might have 6 people living in a 5-bedroom home is paying? I mean, can't we go off a census? Isn't there another way to do this if we don't have the, you know, the flow, whatever it's called? I mean, I don't understand this. I can't afford more than I'm already paying there. I don't think everybody else here can afford to pay. We pay pretty astronomical fees there. Considering I'm by myself and I'm paying more than $300 a quarter. I mean, can that be right? Can that be fair? I mean, there's got to be another alternative to this. There's got to be a way to sort this out that everybody, you know, everybody makes their money and everybody is okay with this, but it can't be this way for us. I mean, is it this assessed this way through the whole town?
Yeah, yes.
It is, and everybody in this town, I mean, I'm new to the town. Everybody's okay with this in this town? It doesn't seem like, it seems like if we're gonna have to, if it's gonna cost us this kind of money, that then we should be putting in flow regulators so that everybody can be charged accordingly. I mean, I feel like this is outrageous. I've lived in, you know, I haven't moved a lot in my life, but this will be my 5th home. And it's not in a very expensive community. But my expenses are outrageous here compared to other communities that I've lived in. And I've lived in Bergen County, Morris County, and Sussex County. This is my 2nd home in Sussex County. I lived in Sparta before this. And their costs are high, but this is outrageous. I mean, I don't know what we're supposed to do. I don't know how we all work together to figure this out, but you can't have a mass exodus out of a Great Gorge because of this. That is what's gonna, I mean, we can't afford this. And there's, I mean, my unit's one of the larger units, but there's units across the street from me that are even larger. I can't imagine what they're paying now. I mean, and I know the tax assessor, but our taxes all just went up too. I mean, it has to be, I understand we have to deal with them for that. And maybe that will create some resolution for us because maybe they will take my unit and say, yeah, it's not a 3-bedroom because you can't sell it as a 3-bedroom. So how can they tax assess me for a 3-bedroom? And maybe that'll rectify that, but it's still only me in my unit. And for a lot of these people are exactly the same as me. They're all, I mean, we're all like divorcees up here. That's why we all end up in Great Gorge, you know what I mean? This is, you know, when you get divorced, you don't have the income anymore that you used to have, blah, blah, blah. So this is how we end up here. So there's a lot of us singles, and then there's some people that have retired up here. So there's 1 or 2 people in these units, yet we're being assessed for 3 bedrooms? Like, I mean, I'm paying over $100 a month. It's me, and I work. I'm not even there most of the time. I mean, it doesn't seem right. It seems like something's wrong in the whole system. There's something wrong. If they need that kind of money from us. So I just hope we can figure out a way to work. I mean, this is the first I heard this was in an email that I got, I believe, from Comment yesterday. And then I saw it as I was pulling out there to go work this morning that, you know, that was flashing about the meeting this evening.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, it's time.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Gregory Fontana. I live at 2 Jackson Hole, Unit 3. It's a 1-bedroom, 1 floor, 3.5 rooms. I've been frustrated with this since I bought this place. That I've never owned a home in a town where it's being based off bedrooms. It's always been based off water usage. My water bill is about $22 to $23 a month. I don't understand why it's 3 times that amount to get rid of it. I don't get it. It's not right. I mean, now it's being raised. My brother lives in Clark, New Jersey. He has a very big home. His sewer bill is under $300 for the quarter. The way this is being administered is wrong. I don't know why it's not based off water in, water out. It doesn't make any sense. In this day and age, there's got to be a way to figure that out. I mean, everybody's on getting water from the same water company. Does this make sense to you?
Well, it does, sir, except the fact of the matter is not every user within the system is on public water. So if that were the case, then we could do flow-based billing, but.
Not everybody's on the water. What are they on?
Well.
That's, you're not talking inside the Big Brick Village.
No, but within the district. So the sewer, you're not going to get.
There's got to be a different way to approach this.
So I don't think there's going to be any dispute or argument from anyone up here, including myself, that EDU-based billing is not ideal.
No, it's not.
I recognize that. However,
It's wrong.
however,
No, it's wrong.
However, we're constrained by the New Jersey statute, which requires sewer districts to charge their users uniform rates based upon a uniform methodology. And because we don't,
People who have wells have septic systems.
some do, no, there are some obviously with septics, but there are also users of the system that are unwell.
You know what?
So that's why we did the EDU. No one's gonna, like, you're single, you're a 3-bedroom house, 1 person, and then your neighbor who might have 6 people in a 2-bedroom, yeah. It's not fair. But no one's arguing that. It's just, we have to, and I'm not trying to be glib about it. It's just, we have to work within the statute and the laws of the state of New Jersey. We cannot pick out a resident and say, okay, you only have 1 person in that 3-bedroom house. We'll charge you X, you over there, or we'll charge you Y.
That's not the point. It should be done based on water usage. For the majority of the community, I would say everybody's on.
But then it would not be uniform for those that are not on water.
You're already not charging uniformly. So please, is Mountain Creek have bedrooms?
Sir, you don't need to yell at me.
Please tell the truth, sir.
Well, I'll let you explain that comment in a minute, but the EDU system is uniform amongst, because all users are subject to that same methodology. And that's how we are in compliance with the New Jersey statutes. No one said it's ideal. It's not.
It's not right. The way it's being done, it's not right. Where people are paying more for sewer than water. I mean, Christ, if I look at it, it's as much as some of my other bills. It's crazy. Anyway, I had to speak my piece. I think it's wrong. I think it should reevaluate it and come up with a better solution.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Patricia LaSorsa, 1 Baptist Stroll, Unit 6. Identify myself as a 1-bedroom with a loft. I was on the Vernon Township website and they define a bedroom as any room excluding the general living area as defined in this section, which contains a door and a window. And then it goes on about many feet. These lofts do not have doors on them. They're, well, I have a window on mine, but they're open. And I'm here because I want to know, it was mentioned that you went through what the assessor has us assessed as, if I understand that correctly. So are you suggesting that maybe we all work with the assessor and go back to the town and have our apartments or condominiums reassessed because they're assessed incorrectly as far as the town goes?
Well, I can't give you legal advice, but I would note that if the assessor marked your property as a one bedroom, then up here, it would be adjusted to a one bedroom. Yes.
And that's about tonight's issue. Of course, we've all been complaining about the EDUs, and been here for the beginning. And I don't want to keep going about the past, as what was done. I just look to the board as if you could help those of us out with, as you said, it doesn't seem fair. So moving forward, if we could kind of right the wrong or make it fair to everyone. That's what I ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
Maureen Moran, Stonehill Drive in Great Gorge Village. I'd like to start out with a question. Why all of a sudden, all this money is needed? We just got a raise in our MUA and, reasonable, we got it, it was due. Now you're turning lofts and rec rooms into bedrooms, and I'm sure not far down the road, there's going to be another raise. What is this money so desperately needed for that it's crash and burn right now? Is that Mountain Creek? Is that?
So I just want to be clear. So the increase in these rates was not anticipated in the budget for this year. So like this money was not like, oh, hey, we're going to increase rates and it's going to be part of the budget. It's not part of our budget this year. So I want to be very clear about that. It was based on 1,614 units or 612 units on the current budget. Okay, so it's not a part of this budget. I will say that in the future, and you and I had this discussion, and I would encourage everybody to look at the MUA's budget to see where the monies go and what it's used for, right? A majority of the budget goes to pay for SCUMA fees. So when you ask, where do the fees go? The majority goes to the treatment of the sewage that's sent to SCUMA every year.
Now, along with that line, and in my mind, I may be wrong, a lot of it has to do with money that's been passed out by Mountain Creek for bonds that were taken out. Okay, the solution to that is everybody in town uses the town. They use the sewers. Make this a tax for the entire town to cover whatever bills need to be, not just Great Gorge Village. Right. Is, and this is a little off the beaten track. I live in a one-bedroom loft. I pay the same amount as the end unit by me, which is an Airbnb. You got me paying the same amount as a person who on average night has anywhere between 10 and 17 people in that unit, flushing, showering, probably showering twice a day, using the sewer system 1,000 times more than I do or anybody else in this room does. We have a number of Airbnbs, the same situation. Why can't you put some kind of an assessment on the Airbnbs depending on the size of their unit and let them pay more than your regular resident who is not using that much sewage?
It's something we can look at. It wouldn't be an assessment. It would be creating a new class.
I didn't know the right word.
No, that's fine. Yep.
Good idea.
Should they be charged more? Absolutely.
That is something that we can look into.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Raise is too much.
I'm Len Colosia, 5 Gray Rock Drive in Vernon. I'd like to start, how many of the commissioners live in the sewer district? Does anyone? No one. Not one of you live in the sewer district.
Would you like to volunteer to take this seat? I'll be happy to give it to you.
No, I just want to know, that's all.
Have an opening.
Listen, guys, I've been through this before. I understand you have a thankless job here. But the problem is that the direction you're going is not right in spite of what your attorney says. Because your own building department down the hall would never allow a loft or a rec room to be called a bedroom.
That's right.
I asked them, I went over this. And there's no way they would ever approve it. So I don't know if you're in the wrong or the tax department's in the wrong. But and let me get to something else too. Do people on Maple Grange Road, do they have a sewer charge? They don't pay for the MUA, do they? Anyone on Maple Grange Road or Glenwood Road? They don't pay an MUA fee, do they?
They're not in the sewer, they're not in the sewer service.
Now in the sewer system specifically.
And how much of the sewer fee is actually for the town center? How much does Great Gorge Village involve our budget? How much is our allowance to the MUA? How much is it? Is 60%, 50%, 40%? What would you say?
I would need to look at those specific numbers.
No idea.
Oh, exactly. It's not that I don't have any idea. I can pull those numbers, but I would like to give you the regular numbers.
When you went into the tax assessor's office and looked at these, did you look at anyone else's? Did you look at Mountain Creek? Did you look at Acme? Did you look at any of the commercial ratables?
So as the attorney explained, so for commercial properties, like for example, it's not based off of bedroom counts for a commercial property. They don't have bedrooms, right? So if you have a restaurant, it would be based on 45 seats, and that's allotted for a certain EDUs. We have our engine.
That's right. So there are different systems for different areas.
So what we did was we pulled all of the residentials. I pulled all the residentials because that's what the bedroom count is for residential properties.
Right, the bedroom count, but now you're including the loft and rec room count. Is that correct?
We use the tax assessor listing.
But no. You used rec rooms and bedrooms, though. You rec rooms and lofts.
We use the tax assessor numbers for bedrooms.
But I know, but you saw the original floor plans. I'm sure Craig must have brought you out of the original plans, and they do not say bedroom. You realize that, right? Did you see that or no?
We have a spreadsheet from.
Okay, all right. So again, you're calling, let me ask you this. Are there any bounds that you couldn't call a space in Great Gorge Village a bedroom? Are there any limits? Next year, are we going to be back here saying kitchens are bedrooms? Are we going to be saying living rooms are bedrooms? I mean, where do you want to go with this? Because you're totally wrong. And again, I cite the building department, their own definition of a bedroom. It's on the website, guys, if you want to look at it. All right. It doesn't say loft and it doesn't say rec room. These would be totally illegal. And yet you're calling it that. You think you're going to really get away with that if this went to court? Really? Come on.
The MUA isn't designating the bedrooms. We're just, only thing we could go by is what the tax office gives us, and that's what.
So you guys can have the ability to think. I mean, you certainly have the ability to reason. I would.
Not to deviate from that.
I'm sorry?
We're not allowed to deviate from that.
You're not allowed to deviate from that.
Have to go by what the tax records say.
And where is that statute? Where is that? Is that somewhere in your handbook or something, or in the title statute? Is that where that is?
So the uniformity clause that we were talking about, uniform rates amongst the same
Yes.
classes and types of users, that's in the statute, right? That's in 14B.
Yes.
The rules and regulations, section 4.3, discuss going off the MUA using the tax assessor's property records card for determining bedroom counts.
They're compelled to, or they can?
Are they compelled to, or they can? You mean?
Is it their choice? Or are they compelled to use that? Or
No, we're not compelled to use that.
Use that, or maybe use something else.
We could use something else that was, as long as it was.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we agreed to 10 years ago.
I finished my.
Unless you guys want to come into every condo and do an assessment, which I doubt it, because it doesn't sound like you have a drop of money here. So
That's why we use the property record card.
Okay, but for the last
Gonna go out.
years, you didn't.
No,
So you can use
No.
other things. And if that property card is not correct, okay, and if the property card is saying it's a bedroom when it's really not, but you're gonna go with it anyway. I find that remarkable, really remarkable. Thank you for your time.
so can I respond?
respond briefly to John's comment, because I didn't have an opportunity to. We don't have the ability, financial ability to go into every individual residential dwelling and do an assessment, a visual inspection of bedrooms. That is why we rely on the township's tax assessor's property records card. So that we're looking at that and we have uniformity. That should have been done. It was intended to be done in 2012. If you look at the minutes from 2012 on the record, it's the advice is given that the MUA utilize the township's tax assessors property record cards for determining bedroom counts. This is not something new, not something that was pulled out of a hat. It was something that should have been done in 2012 and was not done. And we're trying to correct the record on that front.
So you're saying the attorney Urson was wrong? And you're saying,
When did I say, sir, I don't,
I'm saying it should have been back done when we first started this whole thing. So you're saying the original agreement was wrong? Is that what you're saying?
why do you put words in my, I don't understand this dialogue we're having
You
here.
said it should have been done back in.
It was recommended to be done, correct. Where did you get the attorney did something wrong or what you said? I never said that. So the advice that was given at the public meeting in 2012 was that the MUA rely on the tax assessor's property record cards for determining bedroom counts. You see that reflected in the rules and regs under section 4.3, that bedroom counts are determined based upon the tax assessor's property record cards.
Right.
For whatever reason, when the line items were inputted into the system in 2012, that wasn't done. The list that presumably, because we don't know for certain, obviously, but presumably the list that was provided by comment was inputted instead of the property tax record cards held by the tax assessor.
Again, though, you're not compelled to use those records.
No, we'd have.
By law, you are not compelled to use those records. You can use your own judgment on these things. Is that pretty much true?
Correct. But practically speaking, as you identified yourself, we don't have the ability to go out and do individual inspections of each and every residential dwelling to confirm the number of bedroom units. Therefore, we rely on the tax assessor's property records cards.
Right. Okay. I mean, I understand that.
That's fine.
But I don't know if you have the reasoning to change a bedroom into, from what it was a den I'm sorry, I don't think you have that authority, and I think you're going up against your own department. All right, thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Heather Rumline. I live at One Vale Court, Unit 2 in Great Gorge Village.
I'm sorry, do you mind just spelling your last name?
Sure, it's ROMLEIN. So I know the discussion of using the EDU system versus the flow rate is kind of out of the scope of this, but it is a clear deficiency of the system that you are governing, which doesn't warrant further attention and upgrading rather than blindly billing residents. So what we need to look at here is if we're going to go by number of bedrooms, there is no mystery of what a bedroom is. There is a legal definition. It is the building code of Vernon Township. If a house was having a septic system put in, it is assessed for how many legal bedrooms the house has that the septic system has to be able to accommodate. So the same thing would have to be applied to Great Gorge Village. Does your team have the ability to assess every single unit at Great Gorge Village? Because that would be required. Otherwise, it's blindly billing the residents of Great Gorge Village specifically. And my further question to your team is, what is the specific justification that you are using for billing upon bedrooms that are not legal bedrooms? What is your justification?
Are you referring to the one bedroom with a loft? When you say that are not legal bedrooms?
Anyone that's gotten the letter saying they suddenly have one or two more bedrooms than they had earlier.
Okay, so my understanding.
A loft or a rec room.
What is the specific justification that you are bringing for that?
It's off what the tax assessor has identified your dwelling as containing in terms of number of.
So you're billing for something that is not legally a bedroom. What is the justification for billing that is something that is not legally a bedroom?
In the tax assessor, again, the system that's in place
is relying on the tax assessor's records. So if your bedroom is if your unit has a 1 bedroom and a loft, the tax assessor will have it down as 2 bedrooms. If you feel that that's inappropriate,
It isn't appropriate.
okay, well, then your redress is to take that up with the township tax assessor, as we discussed earlier. And then if that's adjusted to a 1 bedroom, then it would be adjusted to a 1 bedroom on our end.
That's not to put the ball in our court. That is billing blindly of something that is not legally a bedroom. With no justifications. That's all I have.
Rich, may I say something? Good job.
I don't run the show.
I'll let you speak again, but let's get through the.
Hi, my name is Lenore Mungala, and I live in Great Gorge Village, 2 Squaw Valley Court, number 3. This August, it'll be 40 years I'm living here. And I found out from a friend who, she has a bedroom and a loft. I found out that I was paying more than her quarterly. I have 1 bedroom, I'm downstairs, and I have no loft. I was told I would receive a credit. But they're not breaking it up and no one's telling me what I'm supposed to be getting paid, supposed to be being charged quarterly.
What's your address, ma'am? What is your address?
Excuse me?
What was your address?
2 Squaw Valley Court, number 3.
And you have a 1 bedroom?
I have a 1 bedroom.
And your sewer bill has you down as a 2 bedroom?
I was getting paid from the past, ever since I moved there, it was higher than it was supposed to be. And I was told that they'll take care of the past year, but the year and a quarter before that, I was, they said, well, we'll see about that. And I was just like, well, I got overcharged.
Ma'am,
I should get credited.
we gave you a credit. And that was approved.
But you didn't.
We gave you credit.
Break it down for me what I'm supposed to be getting paid, what I'm supposed to be paying.
You mean like a new bill?
It's 6.
Are you looking for a new bill? So your most recent, hold on.
No, she's
Ma'am.
my friend, so.
So it's okay. We addressed yours because you were being overbilled and we gave you credits for what you had paid. So we can get you an updated bill from our system. I don't know how far.
And then the next time.
I don't have the
that
exact
I'm
numbers for
supposed
you.
to pay, it seems like it's more than what I'm supposed to be paying. So I just like to see a breakdown of what I'm supposed to be paying every quarter.
Yeah, we'll get you an updated bill. That's not a problem.
Okay.
We can do that for you. And everything's been situated in the system and corrected in the system to reflect what you're supposed to be at. And that's why we gave credits and we can get you an updated bill. That's not a problem. Yep.
And I just want to comment on this, just real quick. This is most people are here because you had an increase. This is the flip side of the situation where people were billed wrong in the other direction and they've been overpaying. And that's why we have to go through the process of making it fair for everyone. I know it doesn't seem fair right now, but this is the other side of the equation.
Well, it was just that I've been overcharged for 3.5 years, almost close to 4 years,
Right.
and it shouldn't have been.
It shows how off the property records are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Evening, my name is Mark Bauer, Bower. I live on Wimbledon Drive in Great Gorge Village. I have owned a half a dozen or so different properties in Great Gorge Village over the past 30 or so years, and I'm quite familiar with the village finances. I was formerly the treasurer of our master council, and I'm currently vice president of one of our section councils. I would like to go back right to the very beginning, to basics, because I think our problem comes from the very beginning, from the basics with respect your EDU system, where you profess to treat all like properties alike, is completely misguided from the get-go. You might just as well say, we're going to treat all pink houses this way and all white houses a different way. Would be no more or less arbitrary and capricious than what you do right now. I happen to live alone in a 3-bedroom. I'm paying a full EDU, have for a dozen years, where my water usage in a typical month is around $20 for clean potable water coming in. And for the same water going down the drain or going down the shower, I'm paying 5 times as much for it to just flow out of the apartment. To say that now you're treating like properties alike is absolutely a fiction, a veneer of fairness where there's no fairness whatsoever. The MUA is the only public utility I know of anywhere, and I don't mean Vernon, I mean the entire country, where only the users get stuck with the bills. My next door neighbor doesn't have a car. She never drives on a town road, but she pays her fair share of road and repair taxes regardless. Another neighbor, well, myself, I have no kids in school. My other neighbor has 6. I pay the same taxes as my neighbor who has 6. I don't have a problem with that because it's spread around widely across the entire base, except for the MUA. You have 25,000 or so properties in Vernon who pay nothing to the MUA so that you can stick everything on the 1,450 units in Great Gorge Village and a handful of stores along Route 94 in the town center, rather than spreading it around to the entire base. This is unique in public utilities anywhere in the world that I know of. And it's totally inherently arbitrary, capricious, and unfair. At the outset, it was conceded, and it's been conceded half a dozen times since then, that the EDU system is flawed and imperfect. Now that we start with that recognition, how about doing something about it to fix it rather than saying, oh, it's flawed and imperfect. Now let's move on and see how we can raise money, given that we have a flawed, arbitrary, capricious, and unfair system. I have a suggestion for you. I know that the thousands of homes that have septics and wells and so on are not interested in hooking up to the MUA and paying for doing so. Nonetheless, every one of those wells, every one of those septic tanks, every one of the cesspools, sooner or later will fail. They will have to be pumped out, they'll have to be replaced, they'll have to be fixed. So there's your golden opportunity landing right in your lap. When a system goes bad in any unit, anywhere within the town limits, no permits for repairs, no permits for replacements, no permits for pump outs. When the system goes bad, house goes onto the MUA, onto the sewer system. It may take decades, it may take 100 years for every septic tank in the village to go bad, but time is on your side. Eventually, all of them will go bad. There's your easy way to increase the MUA's base without sticking every homeowner in the village. Right now, you're sticking every homeowner in Great Gorge Village to the exclusion of the rest of Vernon. And it's arbitrary, capricious, flatly unfair, and your veneer of fairness could not be more false and misleading with respect. Thank you.
One Alta Court, Unit 2. We are new to the village. Coming in, we were given an idea of what to expect with the sewer bill. That's what we expected. Honestly, if you just bumped it up $20 or $30, we probably would have just said, oh, that really sucks, and paid it and went on our way, as I'm sure most people would have. When we moved into the village, it was understood, it was in our paperwork, in our pamphlets from Great Gorge, that we have a 1-bedroom with a loft. It cannot be used as 2 bedrooms. We cannot have more than 2 residents. That's in the master deed. We can't have more than 2 residents, but we're gonna pay for 2 bedrooms. It doesn't make any sense. We work all day, we're not home, we're not using our bathroom all day. I understand there has to be a standard. You have an EDU system. I understand this. I don't understand where you come up with the magical bedroom. I did speak with people in the tax office, and they said that we're assessed by our square footage. Okay, our tax rate is assessed by the square footage. That's great. You can't assess a bedroom by square footage. I can have a 10,000 square foot 1-bedroom house if I wanted to. It doesn't make any sense. And I would understand, to keep it fair, everybody that has a 2-bedroom has to pay a certain amount. Everybody that has a 3-bedroom has to pay a certain amount. I would also understand if you sent me a bill for $25 for the assessor to come over and look at my bedroom count. I would understand it. It would suck, but I would understand it. And there you go. There's your money for somebody to come into my condo for 3.5 minutes to say, oh yeah, you only have 1 bedroom. Have a nice day. I'm sure most people would be like, $25 to save $300. There has to be a better system. This extra $300 a year that we're going to be assessed, it's not fair. It's not a fair system. Go by the bedrooms. Go by the actual bedroom. Come over, have a cup of coffee. See, I've got 1 bedroom. Something has to be done. Because a lot of people are going to end up leaving the village over issues like this. And then you're going to have lost revenue across Vernon, not just the MUA. I understand you guys have a tough job. I understand that it's not easy going through all the numbers and going through all the different systems that you have to pay to the state. I understand that. But it's not easy right now in this economy being us. And all of a sudden, hey, here's some extra $100. Here's some extra $100 when we thought we were moving to a more affordable area of New Jersey, if there is such a thing. That's all.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Tom Keen, with a 1 Spyglass Hill Unit 4. My first question is, what are the anticipated increases in a percent, I guess, for the 2023 upcoming season?
I don't have a budget for the 2023.
Any ideas though? Because everyone that I'm talking to, the word around the campfire is hold on to your whatever, because it's coming. I'm trying to I guess in 2018, I took my life savings and I bought a condo. It's just myself. I'm a single parent with 2 daughters. Similar, I guess she's already left. I'm retired. I'm disabled. I'm a disabled vet. I'm on a very fixed set income. And every year it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. I had to sit down with my 2 girls and said, I'm sorry, when high school is done, I don't know where we're going, but I am selling the condo. I cannot afford to stay here. When I retired, I thought this is a great little town. Active town, safe, nice place to raise a family. That's where it ends. I'm that person. I'm poor. I'm a disabled vet. And I can't afford to stay here. It's not your problem. I have no problem with the Vernon Township, the MUA. I think it's great. Everybody's been very friendly, very nice. I think Comet does a great job. Every time I'm walking around the neighborhood doing my little exercise, whatever I can, they always wave. Hi, Tom, how you doing? Very nice. And I can't afford to stay here. I can't. I food shop once a week at Acme. The other 3 weeks, I go to the food pantries in order for me to pay my bills. I do not have internet. I do not have cable TV. I don't have a TV at all. I have a pay-as-you-go phone. And I tell my kids, I don't know where we're gonna go. But I do know one thing, the tax increases roll in. The water bills roll in. Everything else is, I can't keep up with it. So I bought in 2018, August. I'm anticipating selling this summer. It's 4 years. On the overall, it was okay. I thought I'd be living here for the rest of my life because like I said, I'm retired, I'm disabled. It's tough. I'm the face of that person who was not presented with tough challenges of where do we go on vacation? It's where do I go to get food? And that's not an exaggeration. I don't know what to do. I threatened to my kids and said, I don't know where I'm gonna find it, but I'm gonna put in one of those pay toilets as you go, or I'll put like a nickel for every 5 minutes you're in that damn shower. Turn it off. Can't do it, guys. But it's nothing against daughters. I'm sure sons, we're no better, but daughters are different. And I can't keep up with it. That's all. That's just what I wanted to tell you. That I'm the face of it. And it's too bad because I don't know, when you have expectations for something, it's been a great place to live. I hang out, I talk to the guys down at the bagel joint. When I get my daughter her breakfast, I don't eat there. I can't afford it, but I can get my daughter her sandwich there. And then I, whatever, go talk to the other retirees and we all wring our hands and wonder how we're gonna make ends meet this month. And I understand. You know, the HOA went up, a little increment, I get it. This goes up a little bit increment. But when you're empty, when your tank is on empty, you just gotta pull over and I guess start walking. That's what I gotta do now. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Regarding your comments, sir. First of all, thank you for serving. And secondly, when you asked about savings and when the anticipated budgets are, one of the things that we've been doing, and I've been on for 2 years, is that we've been looking at how to cut costs. And over the last 2 years, and Danelle, you can correct me, but I think we've saved about $650,000 over the last 2 years that we were able to do. We're struggling in this MUA to make sure that we bring you the services and keep the things functioning like Pump Station 2, which has been a disaster, and move forward with it. This last increase, we did not want to do. We actually held zero increase the year before. But when SCUMA puts the pressure on us, and this is one of the things we talk about, is that we have to pay SCUMA a very high price for the amount of flow that comes out of Vernon. We pump more air than what we pay for. And we're fighting that every day and looking for every connection we can find. And I feel for you and I feel for everybody else. We didn't go after this number, this notice that went out to you because we needed more money. We're trying to do this as fairly as possible. And the only standard list we have to work with is the tax assessor. Is it fair? No, I agree with you. Are the EDUs fair? No, it's not the best solution, but it's the solution we have had here for the last 10 years, if not more. And we all say, well, let's try meters. It's costly. It's also, we don't have water meters at every one of our sewer areas. Rich has mentioned this. And I feel for you and I feel for everybody else. But I just want to say again, thank you for serving for us. And I hope you can get through your plate as well.
Can I just talk about?
So after all this, what are you going to do about it? To listen to all of us. Is there anything that you can do about it? The gentleman there say, well, he's trying to do this and we appreciate what you're doing. It's like the economy right now. The economy goes up. In order for us to live, you gotta cut this, you gotta cut that, you gotta cut that. But when you go down to your underwear, there was nothing else to cut, then what? There has to be something look deep into whatever you look into, there's got to be something that you have to do to rectify the situation. Because what this is being done, the tax assessor, whoever he is, he should be fired. Because he's making assumptions like, yeah, well, I don't want to spend money to send somebody over there. So we just make a wild guess. That's not the way to run a company. You don't guess. You look at every dollar that comes in, you look at every dollar that goes out. If you have to make cuts, just like we have to make cuts in order to live, so does the town. And I hope you can look into it. I hope we can work it out, because you know what? I'm heading to Florida. I can't afford to live here another couple of years. Sorry to say. I'm retired. I worked all my life. That I came here. I saw the house, a big house in Wanacue, to make it easier for me that I'm retired. And I come here and I'm getting screwed now. When I lived in Wanacue, I had a 4-bedroom home with 3/4 acre land. My sewer tax was less than what we're paying here right now. Does that make any sense? I don't think so. So, again, all you ladies and gentlemen, do the job that you were selected to do. Do whatever you can to repair the situation, because this is not good. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, if I go for a second time or give us. I just wanted to add a couple of things to clarify too. You talked about in 2012 going into the inspections after the fact that the MUA said that they were going to do in the meetings, and we remember that they couldn't do it, so they asked us to help them do it, to a point where we actually would go send people 2 minutes, submit a letter signed by myself, and we submitted probably about 20 of those letters, 25 of those letters to the MUA throughout 2012 into 2013 year to help people with their assessments. And the MUA accepted it, changed the allocations, and sometimes we denied people. They said, no, you rate as a bedroom. So we worked with the MUA because he didn't have the resources to do the physical inspection, because that was working together and it helped. The other thing that I want to add is, there's a lot of history here of other things that, could take hours to discuss. But if you look at the history of this, in 2016, I hope for a lot of the new commissioners that are on this panel, there was a study that the MUA paid for. You guys did it through a technical report, sanitary utility system financial analysis, prepared by Remington Varick Engineers, RVE. So if any of you have not read that document, and I highly suggest that you do, because the things in that are exactly what we're dealing with and facing, is what they said in there in 2016, that you're going to have the problems that you have now. It was never a mystery where you're going to be right now. They said this. They gave recommendations. And they said in a 10-year period, the sewer fee rates to the current users, which, by the way, I know the answer is Stonehill is 75% of the entire users on the system. The 16% of the town is only connected to the sewer, but 100, and nothing against you who have volunteered, but 16% of the town is only connected, and 100% of the representation is done by those who are not in the system. And that's why I hope you said someone step up. And we said to the village, please, someone volunteer. We used to have people on this board previously with expertise, and it would be great to have someone here. The other thing that I want to add is, the main thing about this is the money. It's not about the current operation of the system. I think the fact that we have sewers is a godsend to the fact that we don't have septic systems in our community, okay, in Stonehill. We just don't have the space for it. It's not practical. It's a lot cleaner and better. So I'm glad that we have this system, but it's always done by a public utility, and until Vernon bought it. When Vernon bought it, and even in the 2005 Township Council resolution, the main thing that they said was, we're buying this, and if you give me a second, the primary goals of the Township Vernon redevelopment effort are to improve the quality of life of township residents and improve the economic foundation of the township so that long-term property tax stability is achieved by all taxpayers. All taxpayers. And that's not as what's happening from when this town council resolution in 2005 to where we sit today. Today, you have 75% of your users who are taking on the burden of this debt. And the debt that I'm talking about is $42.1 million that was incurred, not for the existing systems that's been around since 1985, that was owned privately, sold to United Water, bought by Suez, then bought by you, all assuming there was going to be some kind of operating profit and benefit to the town. $42 million. We're not asking not to pay a dollar or not pay our fair share, but what we're saying is that $42 million should be used to go to the entire township of the 22,000 residents in this community that, as I just said, have improved the quality of life for the township. Take that $42 million and take that out of what our operating bill is and spread that over to town some way, somehow. And you, as the VTMUA, need to be that voice to the township to say, this portion needs to come out and be paid by everyone. Now, look, I don't know all the legality of that, but there's got to be a way to do it, because when you have been in debt before, like last year, I think 5 million or whatever it was, the township stepped in because he couldn't even pay the bill. So it's possible to do. The last piece I want to say is that, sorry, I have my notes here. Is that, there's other ways. It's not all about cutting costs. It's not possible nowadays. I know that firsthand, much to other people saying that it's hard out there. Costs, labor rates, all that kind of stuff are difficult right now. But there's other sources of revenue. One of them being this massive thing about short-term rentals, the township's handling. Maybe you guys should look at anyone who is on a sewer system pays an additional EDU as a short-term rental, instead of paying the same rate as someone who lives in their condo every single day, goes to work for half a day or a full day, and comes home and pay the same rate as someone who brings in 4 to 5 people for a party every single week, every other day. And, the tax assessor, I guess that's just another thing that we're going to have to approach as a whole. It's not as easy. And that's why we did what we did, because the errors were there. Even in your own minutes, you had a deli. I just saw, checked, a deli was rated as a retail. So you knew there was errors, but you assumed to make this change without a meeting, without a motion. You just changed the basis of 75% of all the users on the system. I just don't think that was, long-sighted and could have been done with the budget year or more notice, or maybe reaching out, something like that. So.
Okay, thank you. That's 3 minutes. Thank you.
All right, sorry.
You have 2 people on Zoom. I have Amanda Skinner. I have Amanda Skinner on Zoom.
It's not working. Amanda, we've asked you to unmute, but you're still muted. We can go to the next person. And then
Hi, I apologize. I'm just in the middle of putting my toddler to sleep. I was trying to not have you guys listening to screaming. Sorry about that. My name is Amanda Skinner. I own at 4 Red Lodge, Unit 4. I do have a tenant that is living there that has a similar story to some of the other people that spoke. She's living there on her own, single woman. And my unit is listed as a 2-bedroom based on the property card, but is honestly just a 1-bedroom with a loft, and it is being used as a 1-bedroom. Obviously, you guys have nothing to do with the tax assessment, the property cards. I'm not going to argue all of that, but I do think it is fair to put up for question the possibility of using an alternative way to bill us. I see, based on our math, that we are paying, again, almost 5 times the amount for our sewer as we are for our water bill. And it really just makes absolutely no sense. From what I gather from the attorney is that you guys are simply using the tax assessment to base your billing off of, but there are alternative ways to bill. I don't see why that can't be a discussion, a vote, that we choose a different way to bill the units and move from there. I don't think it should just be, well, this is the way we choose to do it, period, end of story, even though we can all agree that it really doesn't make any sense because you're overcharging the single people living there, you're undercharging the Airbnbs. There is no uniformity. You're saying that it's uniformity based on the property cards, but it's not uniform because these units aren't being used the same way. I get what you're saying. It's a gargantuan task to attempt to pick through with a fine tooth comb what every unit actually is. I don't really think that's the best way to do it. There's just way too much work, a lot of organization, and who's going to do all of that. But why couldn't we propose just like a water in, water out, make a deal with the water company to get the water bills every month and then just bill based off of that? You know, have equality based on what we're using with the water coming in and bill us appropriately with the sewer going out.
Thank you.
And I have Jessica Palladini.
Good evening. I'm listening to these conversations by these condo owners, and it just breaks my heart, particularly to hear what the disabled veteran said. And I have a couple of comments I want to make. If anybody has already said this, I apologize because I came in a little bit late. But the whole problem with the MUA for a decade now has been the EDU system. Why this town and this MUA is constantly trying to reinvent the wheel now, I don't know. It's been 10 years and this is not rocket science. Somebody in the audience said, "Tell the truth, sir." And I'd like you to tell the truth. To foist something like this on these residents now and say, you know what, your loft is a bedroom, so we're charging you more money. That's just outrageous. But here's what I want to say. Now, you all know that I was the recording secretary for this MUA for 10 years. So I was there from the onset. I heard every meeting. I wrote every set of minutes, including executive session minutes. For 1 decade, I personally have been saying, and other people have been saying, put meters on these units. And we keep hearing this bogus statement that, well, they all have to be consistent, and they're not consistent. Then make them consistent. It has been a decade. Now, we were told years ago by an engineer that it would cost approximately $200 to put a meter on every single user. Put that meter on and charge the user that $200 cost. I am sure they would be much more satisfied in paying a one-time $200 fee than to be paying unfair amounts for a decade now. When I hear a gentleman tell me that he has a 3-bedroom condo, but he lives there all alone, he is a single occupant, and he's paying 5 times what others pay. Why have we never heard any study, any discussion, never a discussion on an analysis of what it will cost to put a meter on every single user? Let them pay to dispose of their sewage equivalent to the amount that comes in. This is not rocket science.
There you go.
Unfortunately, Vernon Township, where nothing ever gets done. Talk to some people, do some studies, pour out some RFPs and find out what will it cost to meter every single sewer user. Don't even talk about spreading the expense across the entire tax base, because I'll be down at Acme with a petition against that tomorrow. We were
That's why you don't want to do it.
promised that only the users would pay for the sewers, and that's the way it should be. But for the love of God, make it fair for these people. Meter it. Let them pay for actual use. It is so unfair what you're doing to them now. And that's all I have to say, but I sincerely hope that in the very near future, I'm going to hear this MUA talk about some kind of study, analysis, RFP, something that studies what it will actually cost to put a meter on every single user. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
In Dilworth, Jackson Hole 3. Years ago, when we first ran into this, United Water said they would share for free our water usage with the VTMUA electronically. How much more simple can that be? And rate us by that, by usage, period. Even if you have to pay a feeble amount to share it with the new water company, it's still cheaper than putting another meter. We're already metered by our incoming water. Why do we have to have a second meter for outgoing? If anything, it's going to be less, because if somebody waters a garden, that's not going to be in your VTMUA. That's going to be outside in the lawn. So you're not getting charged for that. We're not going to be charged for that. So you're not servicing that. Also, I'm going to make it short, not going to beat a dead horse, but a loft is not a bedroom. It's never been a bedroom. And for you guys to rate that as a bedroom, it's absurd and illegal. And I think you better start looking at that. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I have Peg DeStassi.
Good evening. I'm very, very disturbed by the attitude that I see across the dais there. It seems like you really aren't getting what these poor people are saying to you. They cannot afford this, and it's your responsibility on this commission to find a better way. Now, two great ideas were presented tonight. Number one, make a deal with Suez, get their meter readings and use that. Why not? Pay them a small fee, and that's the cheapest way out that I can see. But the other way would be what Jesse said, get a study done, find out what the meter cost would be and pass it on to I'm sure the unit owners would gladly pay a one-time fee to have a meter with lower bills than to be paying what they're paying now. It's time that the MUA own up to its responsibilities to its users. You can't just charge. You need to provide service beyond what's going down their drains. It's time, people, do something for these poor people that are being absolutely inundated with these huge bills. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do have one letter that was emailed to me from Michael Gastaldi. My name is Michael Gastaldi. I'm the owner of 1 Snowmass Court, Unit 4, Vernon, New Jersey. I'm questioning the validity discrepancy of a recent letter that I received regarding EDUs sent on 3/28/22. The unit in question was purchased 45 years ago as a 2-bedroom with a loft. The property is deeded and taxed that way. When sold, will be listed as a 2-bedroom with a loft. The loft has 3 walls, no door, or adequate soundproofing legally required to be performed as a bedroom. Access and exiting are via a narrow spiral staircase. This type of egress would not pass any fire code for a legal definition of a bedroom. Any room could be converted inappropriately as a bedroom. Placing beds or a pull-out couch in a living room or dining room does not legally create a bedroom, or should by your board state that it could be a bedroom, hence erroneously charging for increased sewer charges. This unit is not a primary residence or a rental unit. It is used as a weekend getaway. I'm currently unfairly charged the same EDUs as other units being used as primary residences. Vernon Township Municipal Utilities Authority should have access to United Water's meter readings for fairness and accuracy, as was originally in place. My last United Water bill was $13.38. Proof can be provided if requested by the board. Please correctly restore my unit as a 2-bedroom, not a 3-bedroom in your EDU calculation. In all fairness, EDU for primary rental property should be calculated differently than for a weekend getaway property. Thank you in advance for a just and fair approach for sewer charges, especially in a difficult economic time with inflation at an all-time record high, devaluation of the dollar, and criminal pricing for necessary energy. No one should be forced to flush money down the Vernon sewer. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Nobody else from the public? Oh, I'm sorry. You have another one?
I have a question. My name is Domenica Franchica. I live at 2 Backwack, Unit 3. I have a question. You said that the money that you're collecting is not in this year's budget. Why don't you table it for now and do your research and find a better way for you to fix this problem? Would that be possible to put it off for next year?
No, we have to change our methodology.
I think we need some time to discuss that. If you wouldn't give us a chance to talk about that and discuss it, but I will tell
It's
you,
not in the budget for this year, so put it off till next year while you do your research and we do what we have to do.
and we've also been looking at this since January, just so you know, we have been doing a lot of back research and history. And we'll continue to do that, but I think you need to give us a chance to answer your question, okay?
My second question is, how did you come to the conclusion that it should be $72 a quarter additional?
It's based on the current EDU rate. So one EDU is $14.43 and change.
So one additional bedroom would cost $72 more a quarter.
Yes, it's based on what it was. So if you had, originally it was listed as a 1-bedroom, that's what was billed as, and now it's a 2-bedroom. So it's like 0.2 EDU difference.
Now, are we able to call the tax assessor and have him come and evaluate our apartment?
Yeah, if they didn't already do that. Yeah, if they haven't already done that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Did that cost money?
My name is Linda Piverato. I live at 2 Solitude, Unit 11.
Ma'am, do you mind spelling that?
Can't hear me?
No, can you spell it, please?
Spell your last name, please.
So we correctly in the record.
Piverato, like Pavarotti, different vowels. Well, I've been living here 10 years, maybe going on 11. First I rented and then bought. For all of this time, I have really been raped by the MUA. I really want to say that because we should be charged by the water that we're using. That's what sewer is. Now, I use monthly, now it's up to $21, $22 a month. Let me tell you that what I am paying, I'm paying probably what a family of 4 pays because, and I live there alone. But on top of that, we're almost close to one monthly social security payment. That's what I'm close to owing. That's way out of line. Way out of line. Because I even had a toilet, the toilet was put in, a low water toilet, believe me, that doesn't use much water either. But that's my bill. It's always 2,100 and 2,200. That's it. So I'm not the only one. Probably every single person is going through this. It's not right. It's not right. Pay what we owe, but they can't, they raised the price on the MUA very high. And then you have your water bill on top of that. My water bill is low, but why is it almost a social security payment now? That's what I want to know. So think about that. If you were in our shoes, I'm not the only one. There are people in this room that live there in their condo alone. And then you want a rec unit. Okay, you want to make that a bedroom. Well, I'm a pianist and my piano is down there. And that's what has to go into a rec unit to get into a ground floor. You're not going to take 850 pounds up those stairs. They'll kill themselves doing that. But I have to use that. This is what I do. So there you go. Then you want to charge me extra for that room? I mean, I would love to use it for something extra. I don't even use my bedroom, the extra bedroom that I have. It's all storage. We have no closets. We have a nice closet downstairs in the bedroom. That's it. That's it. I want to tell you that the closet that's in this what's considered the bedroom upstairs is this wide. I kid you not. It's a joke. So, really, I think you have to be more fair with the singles. And we should be paying what we use as the water, period. It's sewer, that's what we're talking about. So please look over this situation, because, it's killing a lot of us. It really is. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Schultz, SCHULZ, 2 Pico Court. Some of you are falling asleep. I would like to ask each of you individually, why do you think the MUA should be continued? You haven't made any money from the beginning because there was supposed to be building, there was supposed to be expansion. The economy wasn't supposed to drop like a rock in 2008, and now it is again. Why would you want this to continue? Mr. Shortway tried to sell it, I believe, and he couldn't find any buyers. Now, right down the line, I want to know why you think it should continue. Why?
You want us to answer?
Oh, no, you just go.
If we didn't operate it, we discontinued, who would operate it? If you can't sell it to a private company, who would operate it?
You can sell it if you drop the price low enough.
You have to sell it for what's owed.
You would, all right.
If I can,
You either Vernon's got to lose the money now or down the road. Take your pick. Let's get it over with.
they looked around to try and sell the MUA in 2016, and nobody come near it because of the debt service that was involved.
And the lift stations were rotting. Yeah, we know this. We have suffered through this all this time. And yet now you're going to try and squeeze the money out of the village. I totally understand why you don't use the water meters, water in, water out. You need money. Are you going to start charging us $100,000 a year for our flushes? Like, are we going to continue to be the targets? It's not a viable operation. Can anybody argue that? Violence.
I'm going to answer your,
Good, jump right in here.
I'm going to go in and answer your question here as far as why I came on. I came on 2 years ago because I saw that there was a financial issue here. You have to look at each piece, and one of the things is we are responsible for the operations. The town owns the system. I came on to see what I could do to be part of the team, to be able to, one, reduce the cost. Two, safety is a concern here, okay? Your pump houses, your lift stations, We just invested for 5 generators for the lift stations that are being put in. All right, instead of putting the money into, we're doing preventive maintenance so that you don't have an emergency call out. So now we were able to save money that way, so we could put these generators in so that when the power goes out, your lift stations still operate. So first, you got to get the operation stable. So secondly, when it comes to this financial debacle, does anybody know how much we pay per gallon for sewage here in Vernon?
We pay to SCUMA?
To SCUMA,
I don't know.
$4. You know how much Hardiston pays to SCUMA for the same sewage? $2.
Why did Vernon make that deal?
Thank you. I don't know. We just run the operation here.
These are the things that we, as we've come on, we've encountered, and we're trying to approach these matters and get them rectified. Unfortunately, they don't happen overnight. Oftentimes it takes going to court and other avenues to make things happen.
You heard the call in the beginning. It seems like whatever your project is there is gonna take forever too. It doesn't seem like anybody's moving that forward either.
There's, as for projects not moving along, I work at the biggest water utility in the state. So we deal a lot with the DEP. Since COVID especially, and even before that, and they really hadn't been working in their offices. Everything had been done remotely. And that has slowed down the process on permitting, on permitting. All I'm saying, you're saying how long it's taken for something to get done. A lot of it sits at DEP. And we have to wait for them. You can't put a pipe in the ground. You can't rebuild a pump station without their approval.
Talk about that. We need to figure out, so you're saying Hardison's paying $2, we're paying $4, why? Right, we should be paying $2 then.
And we are litigating.
We're addressing that. The town is addressing that. You've seen it in the newspaper. We're addressing it.
Oh, you still have this.
Is it Vernon Township or is it Owl Creek?
The sewer system?
Yeah.
Vernon Township.
So then why aren't all
Why
the
are we all paying?
taxpayers part of this?
Oh.
This isn't great.
Would somebody ought to explain?
Go ahead.
Ma'am, Ms. Dunlop?
I'm done with you guys. You would not answer me.
The way it was,
What justifies continuing the Vernon MUA? You have to get rid of it.
if the Vernon,
So far underwater, can an MUA declare bankruptcy?
If I can just speak to that?
yeah.
Sure.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Ma'am, just to your question, it's not the MUA that would pull the plug, so to speak, on its existence. It would be the township council.
Well, then you guys start to pressure the township because this is not a viable operation.
Guys don't talk.
Can I make a recommendation, everybody is, to the next town council meeting, please?
Yeah.
And we want to explain to them that no, the whole town is on the hook for the bond.
Saying they're using property records.
That doesn't gonna matter right now.
Okay, but they, I mean, we got to get those facts out there.
If you want to speak, could you please come up so we can all, yeah, thank you.
I have one last question. So Len Colosia, Great Gorge Village. So after what you've heard tonight, you've heard all these testimonials here, do you still feel that calling lofts or using the tax assessors recommendation, guidance, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, in changing lofts and rec rooms to bedrooms, do you still believe in that? Do you still think, are you willing to rescind it? Are you willing to rescind that change? This woman here can I ask you, are you willing to rescind that after what you've heard tonight?
Sorry, sir, I'm the administrator. I'm.
Okay. Well, you're the administrator. You actually found the tax assessor. So let me ask you, are you willing to rescind that after everything?
Sir, that's not, sir, I need you to understand, I don't have a vote on this.
No, I want your opinion.
That's not my opinion to have.
If they asked you for guidance, what would you say?
Sir, it's not my opinion to have.
Oh, come on, don't dance. Come on, can you answer the question? Please, what do you think after what you've heard tonight?
Sir, she answered your question.
No, she didn't.
Well, that's what you're getting.
All right, let me ask this gentleman with the goatee who's very good looking. What do you think?
Right now, I'm not going to answer that right now
Why?
because I have to think more about it.
Are you leaning in any direction?
I'll tell you that.
Okay. So I'm gonna get stonewalled from you, sir?
Gonna get stonewalled for me. I will, at the end of the meeting, we will get our commissioners and chair and comments, and I will address it in more detail then. I will say that nothing here, at least to me, has fallen on deaf ears, and a lot of this will be discussed.
Does something make sense?
I can't give you an answer of what we're going to do. I cannot do that at this moment in time.
No, I'm not asking you that. I'm just asking your opinion.
Let
me ask it this way. Does what these people had to say tonight, does it weigh you?
Absolutely.
Okay, it does. So
Absolutely.
it's something you would willingly consider.
Absolutely. I take no pleasure in having to hear this.
I don't think really, many people who.
Right, so I'm just.
I agree.
Yes, it is weighing on me.
I mean, you, sir, you seem to, I'm not asking the lawyer, that's for sure. You, sir, you seem very cordial. What do you think? What do you think? Just throw it out there.
I'm going to ask you a question back. One of the things we struggle with is finding something that's fair and equitable as a measurement. Do you want me to finish or do you want to talk? Can I finish?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but I'm being interrupted here. You have to find something that's fair and equitable. And over the last 10 years, meeting minutes that go back to October 15, 2012, say the same thing. Is that the only fair and logical way we have right now was the tax assessor. And I agree that one of the things we could look at, it was mentioned in the public comments about flow meters, all right? Metering the system. As our attorney has said, we cannot use water meters because not everybody on the water system, on the sewer system has.
I understand your problem.
So I'm still saying that the only fair and equitable way that I see right now is the tax assessor. Getting a list from comment that doesn't match the tax assessor. We've been looking at this for 3 months now and trying to make sure what's right, what's wrong. So we're comparing the list and they come up arbitrarily different. So we've been doing our work.
That seems acceptable to me, except for the fact that would have been acceptable 2 hours ago. Okay, because maybe you didn't know any better. Maybe you haven't heard that the evidence that these lofts and these rec rooms are not bedrooms. I mean, you know, have you just discovered this tonight? That the tax assessor, did you look and see, well, what merits that? Would you say, oh, we're going to call a loft, and you agreed with that? And has that opinion changed right now?
I can't say my opinion's been wavered one way or another. I'm using what I'm seeing is the tax assessor says this is a 2-bedroom.
I know, but you're a human being. You could think. All right, you don't take everything for granted.
If I'm going to use my common sense, okay? and
Yes.
I use my common sense and I go and I rent an Airbnb and it has a loft or a house has a loft. It's a bedroom, but that's me. That's my.
No, wait.
But my opinion doesn't matter. I have to use the standard.
But you're not gonna tell me that a stick of furniture determines a room, are you?
Now you're getting into semantics here. You asked my question.
Well, you said that. No, that's why I asked the question before, whether my kitchen will ever be 3 minutes on. Doesn't it weigh heavily, you know, hearing these stories? Doesn't it weigh maybe it might sway your opinion, maybe?
It absolutely weighs heavily.
I'm sorry, hold on, I'm sorry, what?
Yes, it absolutely weighs heavily.
Thank you.
And I would just say that I've learned some new things tonight that I hadn't known before tonight. So
I agree.
the course of the normal course.
Thank you. I'm sorry for going on.
Hear the public and hear the deliberations. We're not going to debate it here now, but we're going to take these comments and we're going to discuss it
Okay, thank you.
And I apologize, but I do agree.
No, not a problem. Thank you.
Mary Ann Mitchell, One Bill, Court, Unit 1. Why can't we put a flow meter on a well? That water still comes in, still pipe. I had a well system. You could still put a flow meter on that. It could be equal to everyone then.
Good question. I don't know.
There's no reason. I know you can put a meter on those. Absolutely, because of my water softener's meter comes off my well.
Mhm.
Absolutely, you can do that. So that would be fair to everybody then, correct?
It would, and like I said, all of these suggestions are, I'm writing everything down, and it is stuff that we're going to discuss. It's not going in one ear and out the other. I'm taking all this very seriously. And we will discuss it.
Another meeting where we can all come back and.
You're all welcome at any MUA meeting.
Obviously, we all know we all know, right, that we have to go talk to the tax assessor to get our units corrected so that my two-bedroom loft, one loft is not 3 bedrooms. Clearly, I can't sell it as that legal definition of it. So we know we have to do that, but we'll all get that done. And then can we come back and
You're all encouraged to come to any MUA meeting you want. They're posted on the town website and
talk about this at any meeting?
any meeting.
I don't know. I've never,
Every meeting, there's two, every meeting, there's two questions just for the public. One is what's on the agenda, which we did in the beginning. And then after we do our business, it's open to the public for whatever you need to talk about.
Okay, so
Any-
any given time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I encourage it because when you come here and speak to us, we are learning stuff. You know, we've all been on here for different periods of time. And, you know, we came into some rough financial situations, to say the least, up here that we've been working on, and other issues as well. And the more you let us know, the more we could possibly do. You know, if there's a problem and we don't know about it, I mean, obviously this is a big one. But we would like to hear from you without a doubt.
We're all encouraged to do that, guys. Okay, thank you.
When would the next meeting be? So we all show up at the same time, not one at a time.
Third Thursday in May.
Give you time to.
Third Thursday in May,
Third Thursday in May.
7 PM, right here.
May 19th.
Every third
And
Thursday.
they're all listed on the town website too. You can see when their whole schedule is. Just come on.
Hey folks doing? So my name is Ken French. I live at 1 Red Rock 6. And number one, I'm not a big fan of comment. They're not doing their job. Not a big fan of renters that come to Great Village. Garbage, don't close the dumpsters. Let me talk. I see glass everywhere, and as an owner.
Thank you, Great Gorge Village, for coming.
As an owner, half the time I pick up the mess. My neighbors are too afraid to call comment to do their job. That needs to be rectified.
Hold on a second, sir. That really has nothing to do with the MU. That has nothing to do with MUA business.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that to the board. I'm just saying that to the board because Comet raised their fees. I'm gonna be damned if I'm gonna pay $300 for them not to do what they're supposed to do. That's number one. Number two, my brother-in-law's a GC. He went to my house. I have a 2-bedroom. My loft is open with the bathroom. My brother-in-law's a GNC. He went there last week and he said, that's not considered a 2-bedroom. It's a rec room. So what I'm saying is if Vernon Township, they're gonna keep raising the prices, keep gouging the money for Great Village, guess what you're gonna get when good people start leaving the town of Vernon? You're gonna get riffraff like Patterson.
The next meeting is the third Thursday.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi, can
Absolutely.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Anna Regali. I'm the owner of unit in Great Gorge on Big Sky Drive. Your sewage bill is extremely high. It's outrageous. I know my friends live in other towns and counties of New Jersey and even some luxury lakes communities. None of them have such a high high price. I don't understand it. I relocated from New York where cost of living is very high. I work 12-hour shifts. I'm in healthcare. I struggle to pay my bills. And hearing that you're planning to increase outrageous, it's high already enough. And there should be something should be done. Who is the CEO of the organization? You have CEO, director. Who is on the top? Who is managing this organization? I'm sorry, I missed.
The board.
It's a board, as a board of commissioners, we manage.
So something needs to be done, something needs to be changed. And us residents would like to hear what you come up with. What are the solutions for the struggle? We object the increase, everybody object the increase. And you have to do something to help us, because otherwise people are gonna leave. And it's sad that even during pandemic, people losing jobs and we didn't have any breaks because of our income or our situations. We still are all responsible for paying these high bills. So hopefully something can be done and
Close the door. You can't. You gotta keep it open. I'm sorry to interrupt you, man. We just gotta wait for it to quiet down. Sir, can you just leave that door? The door needs to remain open, sir. Just even if fractionally though, you don't have to leave it wide open. That's good, sir. Thank you. As long as it's open.
Yeah, it's good.
Go ahead, man.
that's it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Joe DeSanto, three Telluride Court, unit number 1. My question is, how is Great Gorge going to get a fair shake when not one of you guys live in it? Where's the representation? Counselor?
There is an open spot on this board. No, there is. Someone from the village can put in the application for
I don't.
commissioner seat.
Okay, number 1. Number 2, I pay $13 to $16 for water and my sewer bill is $300. What is that about? But we have no representation on the table.
We just said that there's a place open. There's a
Place open, okay, there's a place open in Washington DC also, sir. I don't know if you know that.
well.
You know what? We get no representation.
You're not going to fix your water problem, I'm sure. What I'm saying is that there is a spot on the board open. Have somebody from your association fill out an application.
This is a volunteer position.
It's a volunteer position.
I understand you guys have a position or a job that's very tough, okay? I've been serving on many civic groups, and you know what? We have no representation. That doesn't even make any sense to anybody that's over here. Not one person here can tell you that they're gonna get a fair shake. Ask any one of them.
I'll try to help you here. I'll be willing to volunteer myself to sit in your association meetings and listen to you at Great Gorge Village. If you would invite me, my name is Andrew Pitsker. I will be there to be your representative if you would do that. I have reached out before to Great Gorge Village to talk to them and nobody wants to talk. So I'm going to offer as myself, I will come in and listen to you and bring back that information to the board. Would that be acceptable? So I want to hear from, not all of you, I want to hear from your representative. My name is Andrew Pitsker. You can catch me on the internet of the town website. There's an email for me, and I'll be happy to come into your meetings and listen to your causes. And I imagine I can probably get one of our other representatives to join us, if that would be acceptable. We do not have all the answers here.
I understand that. I don't have.
And I appreciate you all coming here.
I don't live here. I don't want to make it sound like I know everybody's problems here, okay? But I do understand that when there's no representation, there's no justice.
Yeah, but now one thing I will like to say, you take back to the village. I would like to see somebody from the village up on sitting on this. We have an open position. It's a volunteer position. You can put an application in and it would be the
Just be approved by the mayor or the town council?
Council.
council.
And I'll just make two observations too. The first is regarding representation. So again, every third Thursday, we have these meetings, and every third Thursday, even if you're not sitting up here, you can certainly come and petition and raise your concerns to the board. So you get representation that way. The other point I just want to clarify is even if you were sitting up here, and we talk about getting a fair shake, sir, the rules and regulations that we have to follow as an MUA constrain what the board can do. So the rates are the rates. The rates are based on the budget, what revenue that needs to be raised in order to sustain operations and maintain a surplus. You know, so that has to be applied uniformly. It's not necessarily the case that if you were sitting up here in Great Gorge would be getting a different rate. It wouldn't be. The EDU rate would be the same EDU rate across the whole sewer system.
But the people would have a voice, is my question. They have no voice right now. All you gotta do is just stand there and say, 3 minutes up, next.
Well, I think you've been pretty effective from where I've sat tonight in having your voices be heard, frankly. So it's.
I have
This is
one.
not a personal thing.
When did the tax assessor come up with the loft as a bedroom and the rec room as a bedroom? How did the tax assessor decide this?
I don't personally know that information, man.
I think you might have that. Is that from the 2012?
No, yeah. So I think what your question you're asking is what calculus did the tax assessor use to look at a one bedroom with a loft and say that's a two bedroom? I don't know the answer to that.
You'd have to ask the tax assessors.
Yeah, what is the tax assessor here tonight? Can he be here?
It's an,
On the third Thursday?
so that, I just want to be clear that the MUA is a completely separate entity from the township. So the tax assessor we wouldn't naturally ask her to be at an MUA meeting. So that's why she would not be here. As far as counting lofts as bedrooms, that is what has historically been done for those units.
I have a copy of the minutes from the October 15th, 2012 meeting. And it says specifically, 1 bedroom plus loft is assessed as a 2-bedroom on the tax records and is billed such for sewer.
You know, it could be why, it could be because they don't have another designation to tax. Do they, you know, they use bedrooms, but it could be that they don't have another number for that third room, a loft or a rec room. It's just a trivial matter.
I don't disagree with that. And if you're able to go to the tax assessor's office and act with something else, we have to follow what they give us. If they say it's not a bedroom, then we will adjust your EDUs accordingly. But we can only go by the records of the town. So if you're able to go there and convince them that it's not a bedroom, and we have to follow what they give us.
That's a bit of a hardship for 1,350 units, you know what I mean?
I understand.
Unless the town wants to do some kind of accommodation. Don't you think? That's a little tough, just by that little change. And you're going to accept that change, so why accept it in the first place? I don't understand after what you've heard tonight.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't the original floor plans be the answer to a bedroom?
Well, you know what? Because we don't know the answer about the tax assessor and how they came up with it, we will reach out.
Right, yeah.
And we will try to get that answer. And then at the next meeting, to bring it up and we'll be able to explain what we're told from the tax assessor's office. Right now, that's the best I could do on that.
Should have media coverage also, it will go a lot more when you have open, and you'll see, it'll go a little further out, the ripple effect, and it will help. Because this was very secretive. Now it's gonna be more. So good, I wish you all good luck with this.
Thank you.
For us also. That we can.
Have to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Actually, hi, my name is Rika Nikita. My husband and I own One Red Lodge number 4 in the village.
Well, I actually have 1 point and 1 question. The point is that a bedroom has a door and a window. That makes total sense, except that the lofts are not full wall. Door into the loft area is basically a half wall and a passage, just a passage through. There's no full walls and a door to create privacy. So I'm really wondering why it would be designated as a bedroom and maybe not just a sleep in sometime. The other question is, we've all gotten the bill with the extra $72 and change for the now 0.8 instead of the 0.6 EDUs. Are we expected to pay that now, or are you guys going to be doing some other work and then making a final decision, and then do we pay, or do we have to pay that now? And would we be reimbursed later? If the decision went the other way, back down to a 0.6 for a 1-bedroom.
Okay, so I would recommend that you pay the bill when due, and if there's an adjustment that's going to be made by the MUA, then that would appear as a credit against monies already paid. But what you don't want to do is not pay it and have it be counted as an unpaid sewer charge, and then it becomes a lien against your property. It's accruing interest at 18%, and just a mess.
Okay, I just wanted to double check, because I thought, if you had decided to suspend things for a little while, then it might be moot to pay it, but okay. Thank you very much, but please firm up that definition of a bedroom. I really think a bedroom needs walls to have a door to get into it.
That's tax assessment.
I know, we'll go over him up later.
Her.
Thank you. And my husband here would like to say something.
My name is Ken Warren. We've owned our place since 2001. We moved out of Bergen County because we wanted to have our own place. We no longer live there since around 2010 because we just couldn't stand living there anymore, especially me. Our first neighbor was an active alcoholic that beat her boyfriend to the point where he ran with the dog, ran away. We literally watched him run through the parking lot, grab his things, and leave. Just before I moved out, we had a guy shimmying down a deck while the police were at the front door speaking to one of the residents, asking him, "Do you know so-and-so and is he here?" They nailed him. The sheriff nailed the guy. But in between that, fees for stuff which is just baloney, and when we were living there, not having our own parking space, for people like yourselves to come to us and say that we have to pay $72 a quarter extra, this is insult to industry, insult to injury. We just had to upgrade our dryer vents at our cost because someone told us, oh, the code now is all the dryer vents have to be metal. So we had to lay out $500 of our money to keep in code for something that's not broken. And I'm a, if it's not broken, don't fix it type of guy. So it's like, I just think this is an insult to the people who have been sticking with the place. We're eventually going to sell because it's too much of a pain. All these little things that keep on coming up, and we are trying to be unselfish and good citizens in the people that we rent to. We've only had one terrible renter since we moved, and we got rid of them and we got rid of their pets. The first person we...
Not Jermaine.
Huh?
Not Jermaine.
We've been on both sides. And when we did have, for a short time, Airbnb, most of the time the place was empty. So how can people say that Airbnb is a villain here when most of the time people are not there? People are not renting the place for a month. People are renting to bring their kids skiing or to go to the water park for a weekend. And why penalize Airbnb people? Now, we're not doing that right now. We have a person who is a single tenant. And we made sure, instead of renting to a family with 2 children and a boyfriend and a girlfriend, we decided to opt for one person because we figured that would be more manageable for us and for the place at large. So we're trying to be responsible people. To hit us with $72 more, this is just this is just not fair.
I like the idea of either meters or the inflow from United Way. But anyway, guys, thank you for your time. It's just a lively meeting.
Thank you.
Have a moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have one more person online, Anil.
Good evening. My name is Ann Larson. I just have a couple of comments, if I may. It appears this entire fiasco is orchestrated chaos. I believe it was done with the intention of causing so much turmoil that I guess that it brings things to a head. But as it is, I guess the town already confiscated, or the mayor, I should say, confiscated the town's 1.75 from the American Rescue Act and dumped that into the MUA. And to follow up with what Mrs. Dunlap said earlier, and Mrs. Schultz, excuse me, said, how long is this viable for? I mean, we just keep excusing away other portions of the story. Now, someone mentioned, could we have the tax assessor come? The tax assessor created a great deal of this problem. First off, because there are criteria for bedrooms, and all those reassessments and revaluation visits we've had from the assessor that we're all paying for over and over again, they know the criteria. There's a certain amount of square footage on the floor. If you've got the column in the middle of a loft, that depletes the amount of floor space. The pitch ceilings going down, there's a certain height requirement. There's an egress window requirement. There is a door and a closet requirement. So this is definitely done. Perhaps she's complicit. I don't know, but this is wrong. The whole thing is wrong. How much of our money can they take? I mean, at some point we got to say, let's just dump this thing, and for the woman, forgive me, I don't know your name, who said that we can't get the assessor here. She's a completely different department. No, that's how you excuse away poor behavior. Okay, she's part of the township. The township bought this stupid MUA. We're all stuck with it. And for you to excuse her away, say, oh, she's in a different department. That's how these things never get fixed. Call her here and make her just explain what she did. And she knows. She's an assessor. She knows valuations just like an appraiser knows. And they know there's a criteria for lofts. And these lofts do not constitute bedrooms. Sorry, they just doesn't happen that way. Maybe they're going to charge everybody a higher rate per whatever EDU, but it's still not a bedroom. A loft does not a bedroom make, and I could put a mattress in any room in that house and it's still not making a bedroom. So this whole thing is nonsense, but I believe to excuse away the assessor or the township assessor and let her get away with this, that's just madness, and it's complicating the problem. I heard not too long ago, Sussex Borough had someone interested in their sewer system. Let's just dump this albatross off our necks and start fresh. I mean, you just can't keep charging people for something that we're never going to ever get to see or use. So good luck. Thank you for your time and have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Seeing no one else from the public, make a motion to close the public session.
Motion to close the public session?
I'll second it.
Aye.
Where are we?
You want to table the rest?
Do you want to table the,
Yeah, these two here, the transfer station and committee report. Yeah, right. We'll just table them for next meeting.
want to table the committee, subcommittee reports for this week?
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll be here till midnight.
All right, let's table it. Motion that we table the subcommittee reports until next meeting.
We haven't formed subcommittees yet, right?
Well, if you look on the website, we have subcommittees for different areas already.
Right.
This is where I take my references, that you go right to the front of the website. I live for this page. It's at the subcommittees right now, our transfer station, station 2, sewer service area, solid waste committee, bylaws, water supply, and finance committee.
Want to table it?
Huh?
Is that what you want to table?
Yeah, that's what we want to table.
I'll second that motion.
Paul, all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We got commissioners' comments and chairwoman's, chairman's comments
Commissioners' comments and chairman's comments.
and adjournment.
All right, so commissioners' comments, start with Ed.
Yeah. I got a few. Can we come up with a cost of metering non-metered units so we have an answer for them?
All right, so just off the top of my head, metering. A meter installed with the software, I think it's about $600 per. With the amount of units up here, look about $840,000.
Okay.
I mean, so.
That gives a number to put out there. That's what I want.
I have over 1
And
million.
if you do that,
And that's rough. I mean, it could easily be more because if they're measuring wastewater, they're gonna have to be a different type of meter,
Right.
so.
and that would be the fair way to do it on people who have wells.
Yeah.
Because in my position, I want to water my lawn every day. I want to wash the car every day.
You pipe
I'm
it a
going to
different
refill
way.
the pool. I don't want to be paying that on the sewer.
Oh, makes sense.
Okay.
Can I make a recommendation on that? I think that's a great investigation and bring it, but can we, that will be part of one of the subcommittees that we bring into this, maybe?
Yeah.
Have that as a subcommittee. But with that, I would also ask for public participation from this group that we saw. So I think you got a great idea there.
Yeah, it's one of the things I was gonna speak of. This meeting.
You mind if I just say something really quick?
Sure.
The fact of the matter is though, is that we still have a budget,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
right? So yes, it would result in people that are probably there not during the week. They use it as a weekend home or they use it as like a getaway a couple of times a year, right? They would obviously pay significantly less. But the fact of the matter is the dollar per gallon
Wow.
is going to be that, right?
I don't think they understand that. They think I'm paying $22 for water coming.
Right, and that it'll be 22 for,
$2 going
right.
out.
It's not gonna work that way.
Any town. Water, when I lived in Hamburg, the water coming in was 1/4 of what I was paying for the water going out.
Costs a lot more to treat sewer than water.
Yeah.
Yes, it
It
does.
just does.
And that's, when we do the subcommittee and we come up with the final conclusions, we can present that to the public. But I think one of the things that they mentioned, and I don't want to take your commissioner's time, that they asked for a study. So, and I think what you bring up is a good point, is that we put a study on a committee, we put a group of people there, and we come back with the facts that we find.
We did that several years ago. Came
Mhm.
back and answered their question that it's not the same price. Water is going to be more expensive to send out, and especially with the fees we pay.
But the other part of this is that we may be able to get money from iBank in the future.
Well, you could use iBank for the meters as well.
Yeah.
So,
The only other thing I have is they also have to understand, if you run a sewer line in front of my house tomorrow, I will hook up when you tell me I can hook up. But if my septic goes bad and you're gonna want it in the town where no permit is issued to repair it, you better run that line in a hurry.
Yeah, right.
well, yeah,
I'd have to pump it about 8 miles to get to the nearest line.
a lot of that, I understand, people are speaking out of frustration and not thinking, oh, yeah, there's no lines through 90% of the town, so.
And to put lines through the town, I don't want to look at that bill.
I mean, you'd also have to think about, right, like the
I have trouble
DEP would have to approve that.
without hitting the ledge.
What's that, Danell?
DEP would have to approve that.
Everything, yeah. I mean,
You're
this,
allowed to put sewer in sewer service area.
I mean, that's where we're at right now, is we can't do anything without sewer service.
Right.
I'm done.
Kristen?
Do we know if the assessor has ever changed the number of they wouldn't change that
No.
unless we were notified?
No. And those numbers were, the list that we had the most recent list that we took was compared to lists that were from the reval from, I think, 2009. Those numbers were the same.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, there were a number of questions about why we got into this. I mean, I made mistakes a number of years ago. I think there were some bad decisions made. To be, as straightforward as possible, in my opinion. There was a comment about some people, not being able to afford the increase, afford the rates. We have hardship provisions in our code, do we not?
Connection fees, I believe we.
Only for connection fees, not for,
I will double check, but I know that we have it for connection fees.
so I know that's kind of typical for water, that, you can't shut off water or that, something for us to consider, I would think, the provision of some hardship clauses in our code if we don't have it. Sorry, I'm just looking through my notes, so give me a moment. There were comments that the EDU system is misguided. I don't think that the EDU system is misguided. It's not arbitrary. It's a standard of measure. It's a standard that's accepted by the state. And it's the best system that we've had without making a significant capital investment otherwise. And we've been very busy trying to find ways to pay off the initial capital investment. And I would believe that that's been a factor in not wanting to spend more money. I do agree, and as we've discussed, it's worth investigating metering. I think it will be unusual to be metering sewage instead of water. It's not going to be just the cost of putting in the meter. It's going to be the cost of setting up, that billing and system of either hiring meter readers or installing automated meter reading. I don't know if your $600 included that, Paul.
I think the software and everything.
That's so that includes AM.
That's an old number. It's probably more than that now.
So, yeah, it's not small dollars. And it will, there's definitely merits to it. So we should study that. And I guess I would say, and some other comments were made that we have never, that we've never had a single discussion on meters as a board. I don't think that's an accurate statement. I believe that we've discussed this on a number of occasions over the past several years that I've been on the board.
Yes.
And, have not found it practical. That was on the basis of, some rough numbers and understanding of what it would require, but I think to, something in a memo to file, so to say, let's put it to rest about what the cost would be, and that's worth doing. But we have had discussions in the past, and we have put it to bed in that regard. I think the public got the understanding that distribute costs townwide is not a decision that this MUA can make. That needs to be taken up with the township council. Similarly, we are a completely separate entity from the town. as an independent authority. I agree. Of course, we cannot summon the assessor to certainly can make this point. Know that we will, now that we've heard, what's occurring. I'm also dismayed that in the comments that suggest that we're trying to squeeze money out of the condos. I know that we had some refute to that comment along the way. Nothing could be further from the truth, that we're trying to squeeze money out of the condos. It is about equitable allocation by legal means. And so, yeah, I guess it's unfortunate that the condos got hit with an MUA increase followed by this adjustment. And I do think that based on the comments that we've heard tonight, that I don't think we've discussed how exactly we will approach the assessor's office. But I guess I would suggest that, that Danell would initiate that action with the assessor. And those are some of my comments. Apologies for the long-winded nature of them. I just.
Thank you.
Happy to hear it from you.
Scanning my notes.
Dave?
I've been on the board since 2018, and we have discussed, like you said, we have discussed meters before. There was several different numbers cast about, and at the time it was deemed that it was financially it was not feasible. Now, I never heard, counsel here enlightened me about how it has to be the same for everybody. And we were just thinking of, at the time when it was discussed, we were just thinking about doing the sewage output. And it didn't seem to be feasible, and it was laid to rest that way. Also, it's obvious from the previous minutes that these decisions about the 2-bedroom and the 1-bedroom with a loft to be a 2-bedroom, that decision was made in 2012. I mean, that's a long time ago. And so I would throw it out there is if there's going to be somebody's going to approach the tax assessor, it should be their
ownership,
their business, their condo committee or whatever they do. Let them approach them. And when they come up with a decision, then we follow what they say.
Well, I don't think us approaching the tax assessors to see if their assessment is correct or not. I think we're just gonna get the information on how they came up with those numbers so that when people from the condos are at the next meeting, we can explain to them how it's done. From that point on, it will be up to them to pursue it.
Okay. Yeah, that's about it for me,
Andy?
First of all, when it comes to the people, you got to take some responsibility. And when it comes to what we get from the tax assessor office is documented. And as Rich has said, this is our legal document.
Yeah.
These people need to take ownership, I think, of questioning what their assessment says. I own my assessment at home.
Yeah, right.
If I see an error, whether it's overtaxed or it's got the wrong information on it, I think it's my responsibility as an owner to come here and make that clear. Now, obviously, we're trying to listen to everybody's needs, and I catch it. We've been working on this for 2.5 months, 3 months now. And this is something that goes back to 2012 that we have not been complying with from whatever errors that have gone on. The hardships I do not want to see, but at the same time, this is something we all share. The group asked us to look into metering. I think it's our responsibility to do that. And I agree that we can do that, but I also want to put some ownership is that we need some people from the public to be part of that. To me, this was great.
I agree.
I got one other thing to say before it runs out of my mind. Andy, when you and I were going over bylaws,
Yes.
we talked about hardship and we actually had some discussion and I was thinking that we should codify what hardship is. And we could put parameters in the bylaws that stated what there had to be to get a hardship rate or something to that effect. And I think it was at the time, the consensus was to take each case as it comes forward, handle it as a one-to-one basis.
Mhm.
If we have that many people here that are living on subsistence, or whether it be disability or whether it be social security or some kind of other form of regulated money, then maybe we ought to have something there so that they can get a break.
Let's take a look at the day. We'll make that.
Yeah. We started, we had the basis of it before.
I also asked Rich about this Airbnb, and I think it's a good idea for us to look at, Rich, you suggested this, exploring a new class where we use the Airbnb at a different level. So I think that's extremely good. The question was asked to me here, do I think this is equitable and fair? We have no other solution but this, and to move forward, Rich, I appreciate the advice you gave here, is that we have to move forward with this rate because we have to be within the law, and this is the legal thing for us to do. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But this is what we have to do legally to do the right thing. And then if there's a change or adjustment in anybody's bill because of the assessment, that will credit them. I think, thank you, Rich, for putting that up there. And thanks for keeping us out of trouble. All right. That's all my comments for tonight.
All right. First, I'd like to say, I'm glad that the people from the condos showed up today. I wish there was more interaction between the users and the board when there's not a large negative issue. It's good to know users' feelings and wants on the system, and going forward, it would be nice if there is more participation down the road. And I sympathize. I sympathize with everything they had to say today about their bills. Not taking it lightly. I disagree with a lot of what they have to say, but as we discussed, we're kind of stuck within the laws and the parameters that were set up before any of us were on this board, and that's what we have to work with. But we've worked hard over the last couple of years in money, finding inconsistencies with what we pay SCUMA, the inconsistent billing at the condos that we're addressing tonight. I wonder if there's more. I wonder, this is just within a short period of time of starting to dig into things. Two major things were found. Council president, he mentioned, it was brought up by one of the other councilmen that wanting the town to do an audit. Council president suggested that our board go forward and have some kind of audit done on everything, see what else turns up. I don't disagree with that. I don't know the cost of something of that. I don't know if it's financially feasible. But if we found these inconsistencies in a relatively short period of time without professional auditors looking, I'm just curious what other monies you may not be receiving. It's something we could discuss. I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but it's, when I heard it, I didn't really disagree with it. As it is. One of the things that was mentioned by a resident was, expanding the sewer service system, and that's something we've been working on. And I just wanted to read something out loud, get it on the record. There's been some talk about a certain piece of property, block 141, lot 12, referred to as the Baldwin property, being in the sewer service system. So I asked Donnell to reach out to DEP because I wanted clarification. And from Paul DeMuro from the DEP, Thursday, April 14th, he writes, Block 141, Lot 12 is not in the currently approved sewer service area for Skooma, Sussex County. To the best of my knowledge, it appears that it was included in the sewer service prior to the adoption of the current countywide FWSA SSA mapping updated on 6/4/2013. However, due to our recent move, because DEP is not in their offices, I don't have all the previous hard copies. He doesn't have it with him to show us, but said, yes, this specific block and lot is part of the ESA 25 in that area for bobcat and timber rattlesnakes. The DEP landscape project mapping for species habitat is available on the DEP website. So that should clarify that for people who believe that that is in the sewer service area. It's, as of last week, it is not.
So no other map is certified by the DEP. All the other maps that have been talked about, whether in public or here or in our office, are just engineer maps from our engineering houses, not a DEP certified document, correct?
I would imagine so.
Okay.
I can't say that for sure, but
based on Paul's
based
letter.
on this, that piece of property is not in the sewer service area.
That being said,
there's one other thing that just nudged me a little bit. One of the comments from the public. And I'm not going to use the exact verbiage because I don't really remember exactly what it was, but it was alluded to like that up here on the dais, we didn't look interested or weren't really into what the public was saying. And that can't be further from the truth, at least speaking for myself, and I'm pretty sure everyone up here. If we're sitting here and not commenting on everything that's being said to us, it doesn't mean we're not interested. It doesn't mean we're not hearing what's being said. I think we're being respectful and really listening to what's being said to us so that we could take this information and weigh it heavily in decision-making in the future. Sometimes it takes a little time to digest things in your mind and come up with a proper answer or a proper way to approach something. Your first answer may not be the correct one. So when we're not going back and forth, it doesn't mean that we're disinterested. It means that we're doing what we're here to do. We're listening to the people, and then we will tackle these issues amongst ourselves at the proper time. That's all I have. One other thing is the short-term rental extra EDU. That sounds something that we should look into. It's people are paying to rent for a weekend or something. They could probably pay a little more.
When you have a one-bedroom with a loft and a rec room that's got 12 people in it, yeah, I think so.
I know when I was young and we go down the shore, we throw 40 people into a shack. So it's that's it for me.
Chairman, I just a question or a follow-up to your comment about the audit that was requested by the council. I was a little bit unclear when I read about that in the newspaper, because I thought we had already kind of done an audit and had produced this information. Is there some request that's come to the board? Because I haven't seen it in my inbox.
No, I just know that it was said at a council meeting.
Is somebody going to get to us about what specifically is being requested?
That I don't know.
The town council passed a resolution. I can forward that resolution to you, but it's not a request for a financial audit.
Yeah, I mean, if the council passed a resolution that's directed towards us, I'd like to see it. Just so that we know how to respond, because I saw something in the newspaper. I don't know what we're supposed to do. If anything, like I said, I thought we already did it, but.
As I recall it, it was the council requested us to produce a report of why or how this came about. This whole situation with the billing, they called it a billing error. That was said at account. That's what
Okay.
Janelle, do you think we have all the questions or answers to all those questions now?
To what questions?
To the questions about the billing errors, or we have more to do?
I mean, I think for the purpose of this board was to find out, one, why there was a discrepancy. So we found out why, that a different list presumably was used. Beyond that, I don't, and it was corrected.
Yeah.
So.
Is there anything more than that we need to report back to them, or do we?
It's up to discretion. And Rich, you could comment if you'd like. I think it's up to discretion of this board if they would like to do anything further. If they want to produce some sort of report for council, that's at the discretion of this board.
Correct. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what we would get out of it if we did it. That's why I mentioned it in the manner that I did. I wanted to make sure everyone was aware that it was spoken of, and whether we do it or not, it's a separate issue. Just wanted everyone to be aware, and it's something we could discuss at another time as well, if we want to go down that road. And like I said, I don't know if we gain anything by it or not.
How will we table that and put it on the agenda for the next meeting?
Do you also want the STR item up for discussion as well?
What do you think, Paul?
Sure.
Let's put it up for subject and we'll discuss it as we go forward. Good.
Do we need to form assignments or committees for these couple of action items from this evening in order to not have this extend further out to next month? Like, is there something that, I don't know, is this going to be assigned already to the codification committee or the rates?
I think I can work with Danelle and Steve on those issues, just to get the ball rolling. And then once committee is formed, or subcommittee is formed, we'll have that much more information to start with.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else? Anybody? Someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn a meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.